Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of September 13th, 2020. As always, Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, defund the police. On the cover, we have the new series, Our Blood Oath, which, now, I get really big yokai series vibes from this, but I also get very big like vampire vibes. And between the both of them, I would much rather have a vampire series than a yokai series. I've been thinking long and hard about why it is that yokai series bother me so much, because fundamentally, a yokai series makes a lot of sense for just any shonen series in general. Like, shonen is a wide category, but for battle shonen, there is a powerful appeal to the idea of you got the main character with a special ability, and then they fight a variety of interesting monsters or, villains, some of which are mindless and don't really have a whole lot going on. Others are super intelligent, and they're the ones that keep on, being a threat. And I can see how yokai and, associated monsters in general, like, monsters that everyone knows about, slots really nicely into that. Because then you don't have to do a lot of explanation. You don't really have to make sure that what you're doing is super unique. And, like, if you're going to go either super unique or super, like, something everyone's already seen, but you're putting your own twist on it, putting your own twist on something that everyone already likes is a lot easier than trying to do something completely insanely original. And, like, it's never going to be completely original. So, my main thing is really just a vampire series could be essentially just a yokai series, but instead of yokai, it's vampires or it's ghouls or, it's more Western themed monsters as opposed to Japanese themed monsters. If this is a vampire series that is not a Monster of the Week vampire series, I'd be pretty happy. But if it is, then it is going to cut too close to being a yokai series. I don't want to be the guy who points at everything in Jump and says, this is essentially just the yokai series, even though it is, about people doing underwater basket weaving or something. But it feels like that. Like, it feels like everything running in Jump is some variation on a yokai series nowadays. Also, the scythe just gives me Ghost Reaper Girl vibes, which is not bad. I mean, scythes are cool. And I guess this is probably a blood scythe, just based on, the title, Our Blood Oath. It's probably a situation where they have to collect these little blood stars, and they fight using blood. And because of the red eyes, like, that's what really makes me feel like they're vampires. It's the blood oath part, and it's also, like, the excessive amount of red. Well, we'll get to that soon enough. For now, let's do the pre-recordeds. Only got 2 right now. First off, we've got Black Clover, chapter 264, Stirrings of the Strongest. Okay, so it is a sneaky rescue mission as opposed to a full-on assault, which makes sense. I also do really like that we are setting this up as, like, it isn't a big war or anything that is going to devolve into one-on-one fights. It is specifically we're going to fight each of them, and it is, like, it's not necessarily going to be one-on-one, but, we're not going to let them team up. It is going to be a group of us versus each of them. Dante has gravity and body magic, which we saw. Vanica has cursed warding and blood magic. The one with spatial and bone magic is Xenon. Okay. Okay, so we do have a limit as well. Fair. I mean, from all of the captains, I can't really guess which ones would be the best against each of their, like, specialties. Like, it comes down to the logic of the series, which has been a little hit or miss in terms of, like, what beats what or what is a good match for what. I mean, Yuno's gotta come along. There's no way he won't. But do they know about his heritage, actually? That might be a part of it. Like, if they want to take him along so that he'll be able to, like, get supporters or something. I guess that doesn't really help, though, because this is a sneak into the castle and assassinate them thing, not a, uprising situation. Okay. So that's how, yeah. Cool. And this is something where I really hope we maintain the contrast between Asta and Yuno by saying that Yuno has, this secret important heritage, but Asta doesn't. If Asta has secret important heritage, I'm going to be very upset. Whereas, like, because of the duality of the two of them, it doesn't bother me at all that Yuno is secretly a royal. Like, it makes so much about him make sense. In terms of, his extreme power, the fact that no one immediately said he was special. Like, there's... It works. I do really like it. But I... just fingers crossed, really hoping Yuki Tabata does not make Asta a royal or something. Okay, cool. So yeah, that guy will even play into this. Ah, and that is a good point. Like, if a member of the Golden Dawn does not save William, then like yeah. Plus, I do think like in addition to what he's saying right now, it's also the safest to have save him because wouldn't try to kill him. Whereas with all the others, like there is the danger that like Jack, for instance, might just straight up try to kill him. As he fought, Captain Vangelis was protecting the Golden Dawn members. Ah. And I do appreciate this also because like it's humanizing not just because he is protecting his entire group, but specifically because so many of the Golden Dawn did die in this. Like this is a situation where William could have said, oh well, they're as good as gone, so I'm going to try and fight one-on-one and try to beat this guy. The fact that there are already heavy casualties and he was struggling to try and save the ones who are remaining makes it doesn't like it's not morally better or anything, but it gives it more pathos to me, I guess. It makes it hit a lot harder. Like I think it also shows that he doesn't consider them baggage, even if no one else in the Golden Dawn except for is capable of helping him at all. He doesn't care. He will sacrifice in order to protect them because that's just what he does. He is their captain. To you, he may be a traitor who once turned his back on the kingdom, but to us, he's the kindest, most reliable captain anywhere. Like, I also really love that this is, being mad. Like, this is him being the one with a disadvantage, the one who has a grudge, the one who, has a extremely personal stake in this that isn't just a parallel to Asta. Although this is a parallel to Asta. Like, I didn't think about it until right now, but yeah, like, they need the World Tree Magic and the Darkness Magic in order to, create the Kifalot. But at the same time, that does mean that both Asta and Yuno are trying to save their captains. It's honestly so surprising that we haven't had some sort of interplay between Asta and Yuno that, where they help each other. Or, not that, how would I put this? Like, we've never seen their magic interact in a way that is positive for both of them. Like, the series has maintained that, they are very strong, but at the same time, like, Asta has anti-magic. By the very nature of his power, he's going to negate, his power. Like, they have to fight side by side, but they can't, like, combine their powers. Because, that'd be kind of pointless. The reason I'm bringing this up is because, specifically, Yami and William's powers combined create the Kifalots. I'm wondering if, like, they're going to combine their powers, they're going to create it, they're going to open up the gates, and then Asta and will destroy the tree. Like, they'll destroy the Kifalot using a combination of their powers, somehow. Oh, and even Jack's spooked by it. Oh. And she's so mad. Like, she's so legitimately into this. This isn't a classic, like... Up until now, she hasn't really put forth efforts. She is, by her very nature, extremely powerful, and she combines with and, lends her power to him. This is the first time where she's done anything along the lines of storing up mana or, like, actively preparing before a fight. Huh, he didn't pick anyone else, though. Like, it can't be just Asta and and him, right? Oh. Okay, so they didn't know at all about this. I was kind of just assuming that word would have gotten them, like, within a day or so. Oh, the elves. Okay. I guess it'd actually be pretty cool if... Like, I assume then, like, the captains that aren't going on the direct attack the Dark Triad mission are going to be the ones who go to the Heart Kingdom and, help bolster their forces, along with the elves. But I could also see it being cool if it is, like, if the Heart Kingdom sends word saying, hey, you guys don't need to come here. Just work on going to the Spade Kingdom. Because, yeah, like, the elves also just fit the Heart Kingdom very well. Like, they are more nature-based, the Heart Kingdom is so integrated with nature. I could see, yeah, if Lola Peshka wanted to, I could definitely see her, like, allowing the Heart Kingdom to become, like, not an elf nation, but, to host the elves, or, like, host the revival of the elves as a species, as a people. Because then that would also sidestep the potential problem of doing it in the Clover Kingdom where there's still a lot of prejudice. Yeah, this is shaping up. This is also a really good, like, emotional chapter. We didn't have to do a big fight or anything. It was mostly just exploring Yuno's feelings. It was mostly just, like, letting everyone understand him, which I really appreciate. I do still think that we're going to cut over Asta's training, and then we'll flash back to it when he's actually fighting a member of the Dark Triad. But, oh boy. if it's just the three of them, I doubt it's going to be just the three of them, but if it is just the three of them, then I would say Yuno would probably fight Dante, because, I mean, it would make too much sense for him to fight Xenon. Like, I mean, I guess he's the one with the grudge against Xenon, though. Like, the obvious one would be Asta fights Dante, Yuno fights Xenon, and then uh, the Vice Captain fights Vanica. Because also, she has curse warding magic, so he wouldn't be able to, like, use a Devil's Curse or anything to take her out. I guess she does have the most devilly two abilities, which could be an interesting pairing with, his abilities, or, his various contracts, if he has them. I don't want it to be one-on-ones, though. I do think it would be a lot better if it was, at least two-on-ones, and then one member of each of them gets taken out or something. Because, like, Dark Triad is a triad, and I do think it would be really cool to have, their downfall come as a result of the three of them being a quote-unquote triad, but they don't really work together. Apart, they get power from their devils, but they are individuals that happen to be together. Whereas, like, the forces fighting them, the forces of the Clover Kingdom, are actually working together. Anyways, that's Black Clover. Good time. No real ranking for it, as always now. Next, we have Me and Roboco, Chapter 9. Some classic Gotchi Gorilla bullying Bondo, but obviously it's not actually bullying for some reason. I'm gonna keep this bad boy safe in my box of stuff I got from Bondo. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. That way, we share things, we support each other, fun stuff gets multiplied, and sad stuff gets halved. That's what friendship is all about, don't you think? Man, Gotchi Gorilla is truly incredible. Oh, Chapter 9, Gorilla and Roboco! It's gonna be a Gotchi Gorilla focus chapter! I mean, he is the standout character thus far. I mean, yeah, I'd say so. Like, Me and Roboco is inherently about Bondo and Roboco, so they can't be standouts. And as for characters that are not the two of them, Gotchi Gorilla is such an obvious standout. I do hope his friend gets actual help. Or, not actual help. That's such a weird way of putting it. I do hope that he gets focus. Like, I hope the author, gives him more to do. Because right now he has this weird thing where he's not the straight man or anything, but he's also just sort of around. He's a less gaggy Gotchi Gorilla, and the two of them are mostly just together all the time. Oh, this is the special edition of that same new volume! Oh boy. So this manga is Yo Crap Man. I can't believe it just has him giving the finger on it. That's incredible. Special edition, responsibility. Why the hell would I take that? Crap Man phrasebook and acrylic keychain included. This is also such a thick volume. Like, here it looks like a normal manga volume, but this is so many pages. And it looks like there's a special section in the back. I mean, I guess that's where the keychain comes from. Or, no, that's probably the phrasebook then. Where does Gotchi Gorilla go on the D&D, alignment charts? Because the closest thing I would think of is Chaotic Good, in that he does a lot of weird stuff, but he is ultimately very good. But Chaotic Good is more of a, a roguey trickster thing, and he's not a rogue. I mean, I guess he is. I guess he's a rogue in a very strange way. I mean, to be fair, I believe we were told in Chapter 1 that Gotchi Gorilla does have a Mako, but we've never seen it, right? Like, we've only seen this Mako that belongs to Matsuo, or Motsuo. Okay, so they run an animal hospital. I see the mouth as a genetic trait, but the note... I guess it's good that Rumi didn't get the Gotchi nose. Oh no! Put some pants on! Oh, that's a real super cute design. God, I love her so much. She's such a little painter. So cute. Also, wait a minute. Yeah, we didn't get their last names at all, for these three. But I guess we have to assume that Gotchi is their last name, because it is the Gotchi Animal Hospital. Her name is Ruri Gotchi. So I guess Gotchi Gorilla's name is Gotchi Gorilla. You do say it in Japanese order, but they just say his whole name every time. Because, yeah, she does call him Gorilla. Boy, this family is so wild. This is such a dumb gag, but I think because it's so wholesome, it doesn't get old. I mean, who knows? Maybe I don't know if Gotcha Girl can keep on doing this in 50 chapters and still feel fresh, but as of chapter 9, still good. Ah, this also does explain why it is that the girls don't have the gotchi nose and the boys do. Like we're doing the traditional. The boys look like the dad and the girls look like the mom. I mean, she also does not have the gotchi mouth. So I assume. Oh no! I hope we don't go there. But I do feel like the gag is going to be then that their dad is literally just a gorilla, because it's an animal hospital, and that would explain why they all look gorilla-esque, maybe. Damn, he's too good a kid. I don't have enough treats to keep up. Okay, cool. So that also explains why we haven't seen her yet. Like, not... It doesn't, it's not a in-universe explanation, but as an outer-universe thing. Like, it is because she is a unique model. What do you need to do in order to get this option? I mean, this is Gotcha Girl and Roboco, so maybe just by hanging out together, Nasu is going to learn to control her bloodlust, because of course, Roboco always controls her bloodlust. Okay. I mean, this is obviously a reference, but I do not get it in the slightest. Oh, I hope someday I can end all war in this world. Man. I mean, I like the gag. I'm hoping that... Is there a possibility that we are going to hit the point where Gotcha Gorilla is the best person in Shonen Jump? It's possible. I mean, depending on what is running in Jump. Like, even someone like Naruyuki from We Never Learn, who is a extremely good person, is, like, because he's in a series that is a rom-com, like, there is a significant amount of calm to it. But even then, like, it's too realistic. He doesn't, he can't go as hard as Gotcha Gorilla does in terms of sheer moral goodness. This is such a weird joke! So, this is a live-action adaptation of the Promised Neverland parody manga, which is, I believe, yeah, the Me and Roboco mangaka also did the Promised Neverland parody manga. Is Fuji TV stupid or something? Oh, if Me and Roboco ever gets an anime adaptation, they could then expand the scene by, showing them actually watching the movie for a bit, and then that could be a stealth way for the mangaka to get his Promised Neverland, parody manga, a short live action, a short animated adaptation, I guess. I guess it would be that would be going so far beyond. That would be a a Pop Team Epic level comedy bits. If they, in the anime adaptation of Me and Roboco, did a live-action skit that is the live-action Promised Neverland parody movie. Oh, Gorilla says he's not coming. He even types out the ha-has. Man, I want to be like this. I want to have my own messenger stickers. To be fair, I do have my own messenger stickers, but they are of my persona, not of me. Also, they are Telegram exclusive, and no one I know uses Telegram, so it's kind of pointless. But yeah, I'm definitely the kind of person who if Discord allowed custom stickers that are like this size, I probably would make a bunch of me as me doing emotions. I guess this whole conversation doesn't really land because I did in fact do that. Oh boy. Huh. And yet, he specifically has Roboco on Messenger. Like, it's not even, Roboco using Bondo's phone or anything. It is specifically Roboco and Gotcha Gorilla talk sometimes. Everybody's waiting. We're ringing the bell and waiting for your return. Oh boy. Something the Light of Shandora. I get that one. Oh, it is just Light the Light of Shandora. Just gonna ignore me, huh? If it were me, I'd keep my promises, but whatever. I mean, I kept the promise I made when I was chatting with Monica before. I guess it's just the kind of person I am, I mean, this kind of thing isn't really a subject you can bring up yourself, so I'm not gonna. But if you got something to say, that's fine with me. In fact, maybe it would be... I guess the haha is not him laughing. It is a verbal tick. Like, it's such a sad haha here. That has to just be his anime character tick. Also, I didn't notice this before, but yes, his texting sound is him going ha. No, there's no way that she's going to just walk away from this. She's gonna fix it. I don't know how, but she's gonna fix it. I'll man this front desk for you here, so go enjoy the movie with your friends. First of all, I guess gorillas do just go ha ha. But secondarily, this is actually a very good gag because they are at an animal hospital. It does raise the question of why is there a gorilla in a cage in the waiting room, but even then, I mean, I guess maybe someone just brought it in. Go, damn you! Oh, is she gonna throw him right into the theater? Oh, what is this? From the sky, a gorilla crashed into. So I guess he just landed outside. Also, yeah, I guess his brother's just here too. I guess that's a Kimetsu no Yaiba reference. The man prizes etiquette over emotion. To be honest, the movie sucked, but it was fun getting to see it with friends. What is this joke? Also, I do appreciate that this chapter is focusing entirely on Gachi Gorilla. Like, Roboco is there genuinely in order to just fix the problem. Like, she doesn't really get to have a big gag here. Like, it's not even, like, it's not that she's a bad receptionist or anything. This is just an old man that looks like a dog that showed up for some reason. Ah, God, so wholesome. I love it. Gonna put that right above Black Clover. Like, Black Clover is good emotionally, but this was just good comedy. Ah, I sure hope this is not me and Roboco peaking. But I mean, like, the last couple of chapters have been good enough, so I feel like I feel like it's got enough steam. All right, that is the end of me and Roboco. That's the end of the live stream. It's not the end of me and Roboco. That's just the end of that chapter. Me and Roboco still happening. Also, by the way, before I go into the live stream, I'll say during the live stream, so never mind. Never mind. Next time you see me, it will be the live stream. Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and it is live stream time. So, as I said at the start, this is, of course, our Blood Oath new series by, when these were all debuting, I definitely looked up all of the people, checked that out back like a week ago or a month ago or however long ago that was. So I'm not going to look up this person again in case I get big spoils for our Blood Oath. But when I immediately saw this, my first reaction was, this is either a vampire manga or a yokai manga. And then I had a little discussion that, I don't know how that's going to turn out in post, because I had to pause so many times to collect my thoughts, but my general idea is a yokai series is not necessarily about Japanese yokai. It can be a yokai series if it is, essentially the same thing, but it features Western monsters, which is what I think this is extremely likely to be. I do think it is going to be, about vampires, and it is going to be essentially a yokai series, but the main characters are vampires. All right. Hey, Zaku, you made it! Okay, so, well, we can only hold off for so long. I've already said what I think the series is going to be. Completely possible that I'm completely wrong, which would also be pretty cool. The only way we'll know what it is if I indeed click it, and then go to the chapter, and then remember that I had a tab open specifically for this that I did not use. But that's fine. I'm just going to close it. Yeah, okay, there we are. Our Blood Oath, Chapter 1. No, please don't finger the chest hole. I mean, it is completely possible this could just be, like, normal magic, but their eyes are all red because it's blood magic, maybe? Nah, definitely vampires. By Kakazu. God, that's such a good... I assume that's a pen name. That's a really dope pen name. I really like the sound of it. I like the look of it. Like, I don't know how it may look in Japanese, but in English, it has, like, a lot of big, sharp lines in it that I think really works with something like this. Yeah, it has a very Aka Akatsuka thing going on. Or, sorry, Aka Akasaka. Also, I see that the bats are also the red thread of fate that connects the two of them. You know, I don't yeah, I guess I don't know if the younger sibling is a brother or a sister. I mean, Blood Oath brothers, so I guess definitely they're both brothers then. Also, I see his hair slowly turning white, perhaps in a Skune from Rosario to Vampire way, in which he transforms by either consuming blood or having the blood be sucked out of him, or having blood injected into him. I'm really covering all the bases. I'm sure that I definitely have a lot of wrong takes here. Yeah, a little Gen hairstyle. I could see it. Oh no, is that a cat? Is he going to make the cat explode? I mean, I don't know what else you could possibly get from a ba-ba-ba-boom. But okay, so they're definitely tracking something that is, I guess by the fourth we've seen, maybe, like, I assume it is only attacking, like, animals right now, and it's working its way up to attacking a human. Oh, no! Now, I do like the sheep design. The oh no is, of course, because it is eating a cat. But I actually do really like the way its fur is drawn. Oh, right, sucking blood. So I guess this is a vampire then. It's a vampy goat. Oh, it's got the big fangs and everything. Like, it's got a good mix of, there's a little goofy in there, but it is still, like, it's something where, yeah, I get why it's scary. Oh, a chupacabra! That would make a lot of sense. I forgot there was a term for vampire goats in mythology. Now, is this just a random bystander, or is this man going to also just hang out with the brothers for the rest of the series? Palm of power, penetrate this bloodthirsty beast. Crimson palm! So, I guess it is him, like, assuming that on the cover of Jump, that big scythe was made out of blood. Then this is, their magic probably is based around moving blood around, in which case this is either him coating his hand in blood, or maybe just pumping all of the blood in his body to his hands, thus making it darker and stronger. Okay, and it then explodes, turns into one of those little blood stars that we saw on the cover. I wonder if this is going to be then, like, if the brothers aren't traditional vampires, it could be a situation where, like, they have a blood bond and they attack, they fight vampires, but instead of, like, sucking blood or anything to power themselves, they use these, like, little red stars. I mean, his hand looks exactly the same before and after he shoves it through the sheep. So, which is why I would assume that the palm has to be red before he shoves it through the sheep. Also possible, could just be a glove. Also, this has very mild, like, Fire Force vibes with the, like, praying for them after they've been killed. Wild sheep come out at night around here. So I guess this is, like, it's not that this was a loose one. It is just they hang around here.
Hold up.
Yeah?
You just said it's like Fire Force in that they pray for them after they're dead, which I have to say
Uh-huh.
is how most religions work, and also not how Fire Force works. They do it
Uh-huh.
before they kill them.
I guess they do. Ah, I see.
I think you're thinking of religion.
Hmm. Hmm. You might be right. He's probably being targeted. Now, does the series have the unoriginality to go for the he's covered in blood, which means that those who have pacts of blood or bonds of blood are now attracted to this person, and so we must protect him. Okay, so he's going home. What's going on at home then? This reminds me a lot of Hellwarden Higama, actually. Like, specifically the setup of, the unpowered character gets attacked by a minor monster. The main character then defeats the minor monster, but then main character goes, or, important character goes home, and then it turns out, oh yeah, a member of their household has been possessed, or, is a monster. And as a result, like, that's the real big situation that then they have to defuse by the end of the chapter. I mean, judging by the piles of trash in here, I guess this has been going on for quite a while. Ooh. And then that also does explain why he, after all that, the thing that stuck with him wasn't, like, I mean, part of it was, I got attacked by a monster, but it was also, like, wow, those brothers had a really powerful bond. Or, they were very close. Because, of course, his family does not have a close bond to him. Now, are they going to continue to try and like misdirect him, or are we going all in with the, clearly something's going on, so we're just gonna, we're gonna lessen the masquerade. We're gonna take off our masks. You're invited into the secret club of knowing about the horrible monsters that are attacking. Yeah, so far don't really care for Shin at all, but Ko's fun. I mean, I guess it's because Shin is the straight man here, whereas Ko gets to be more vibrant and do more things, and he speaks out a lot more. Not a super big fan of the art style. Like it's fine. It's workable. But specifically like the shading in their hair and the way Ko's outfit looks here is I don't know, it's not doing it for me. Is there a particular reason that you would not want to be at your home? I mean, for me, it really depends on the series. I cannot lay down hard and fast rules about what I do and don't like, because every time I have tried to in the past, every time I have said this specific aesthetic is something I hate, I am then eventually presented with an example of that aesthetic that I do really like, even though it does all the things I said I didn't like. I guess part of it is that this doesn't feel that sketchy to me. It's just weirdly shaded. Okay, so it is cool that there is not a clear explanation, but like clearly he has internalized this idea of why it is that his entire family would hate him now. But then also they're not related to me by blood, so tying in the metaphorical bonds of blood with the very literal bonds of blood. Why would you care so much if you're not related by blood? You're all just human. Oh. Oh, this child spilled blood all over him. Now, are we implying that there was a cut here where they told him stuff, or is it that he had the blood spilled on him, so then he ran home? Okay, I guess that is it. I guess it was. The blood was spilled on him, he freaked out, ran away. Fair enough. If you're talking to someone and they're just drinking blood casually, I would also take that as a big red flag. I would also not want to be there. Okay, and very hard 180 in their personalities. I imagine this is, of course, we want to eat you when you're at your happiest. So we've been neglecting you this whole time, and then we gave you a little glimmer of happiness on your birthday, and now, now that you're at your happiest, we're going to consume your blood. Aw, yeah. We treated you so well until you were ripe and 16. Now, I would disagree with that, considering that I mean, first of all, because they are his adoptive family, I guess the implication then is they adopted him to eat him, but at some point before he was 16, they started neglecting him for some reason. Like, I assume the neglect has to be intentional, right? I mean, I guess this could also be like a changeling situation where they're not really his parents. It's just at some point they replaced his parents, and then they didn't attack him for like a year or so until he was 16. Maybe. I mean, it's also very possible they've been very recently turned into vampires, and as a result, like they were normal up to a point, and then they started ignoring him because they just had to force themselves to not attack him. It's not your mother. Okay, so it is possession. How do you know about our kind? I'd say I have a very specific thrill whenever I see a series do this, but not in chapter 1. I really like it in like later chapters when the main character shows up and someone has absolutely no idea who he is. And they're also operating under the assumption that the masquerade exists, that there is this clear, people don't know about what I am. Like, when a series kind of like boils down to, of course, everyone knows about Higama. It's not that interesting. Oh, now that sure looks like a fox. All right, so they are a known quantity, but like they're known, like they are known, but they're not so well known that someone would look at them and say, "Oh, it's brothers. They have to be the vampire brothers." Ah, of course, they're all foxes. See, now this is definitely a situation where I would call this a yokai series, not just in the general sense, but in the specific sense of I feel like any series that involves a fox monster can be called a yokai series, and yes, that does include Chainsaw Man. If your first thought, or if one of your very first thoughts is, I gotta draw a scary looking fox that is straight up just a fox, it's a yokai series. I mean, this design's a little cooler, but I mean, it is fundamentally just 3 heads smashed together. Oh, it's a Cerebus. I see. I see. They fire moonlights. I mean, that's interesting. That is a good point, and that is something I do adore about Full Metal Alchemist, that the title is so well known, and that the title also is, like, in universe, a funny title. Like, it is something that was designed specifically to mess with Ed, and everyone else misreads it, because of course they would. Like, automail is also just not that uncommon in the world. Like, a lot of people have automail. So it really is just King Bradley saying, I think it would be funny if I called you the Full Metal Alchemist. See, I guess my problem is that in order to make something a vampire X, like a vampire Cerebus or a vampire dragon or, vampire goats, like, you gotta focus more on the vampire-y stuff. Like, I think the goat was fine, sure. But this Cerebus so far does not feel very vampire-y. It feels more like just a Cerebus. Or, a spirit with 3 heads. Oh, that smell. The blood of a human. So they're not both vampires then. Ah, and so that's the blood oath. He did the big pokey in the chest and then injected oath. It's just Black Butler. It is also, presumably, just Rosario to Vampire, except instead of Moka and Sukune being lovers, they are siblings. Okay, I was an orphan. I was taken in by a vampire couple. Yeah, I get it, Zaku. I mean, I remember, even as early as last year, I don't remember who it was, but someone was definitely saying that, I was being a little excessive with my bagging on the yokai series. But 2020 has really cemented my anger as just a fundamental, this is just what people do. Like, in a situation like this, where Jump is bleeding series and there's so much opportunity to go in, so many people have the thought of, what if I do a yokai series? And by a yokai series, I mean literally, what if I do Hell Warden Higama, but slightly different? What if I do X series, but slightly different, but it is absolutely just a thing that already ran in Jump? Chainsaw Man is incredible because it does fit like everything I would say a yokai series is. Like, not super traditional Japanese stuff, but still, like, there's a lot of Japanese stuff. It is fundamentally what I would call a yokai series. And I mean, for better or for worse, like, that is, Chainsaw Man is legitimately maybe the reason why I insist on giving all of these series at least 3 chapters to, make a mark on me. Because I would feel like an absolute moron if I had dropped Chainsaw Man after chapter 1, which, to be fair though, chapter 1 did a really good job of cementing itself as not like the 50 other series that I've read that have been canceled between 2015 and now. Now, this is a cool concept, by the way. Like, I have been just, blathering about something else, but I guess the big question then is, did this couple want to raise him until he was 16 in order to eat him? Or were they raising him, like, as a genuine, they wanted to raise a child? Like, I could definitely see the big twist later on being that the reason why they adopted him was because they wanted Ko to be able to, to eat someone close, not close to his age, but, like his sibling. Like, there's a special type of power you can get by eating your brother, and so they wanted him to have a brother to eat. Okay, so he stabbed himself. Through a vampire society calls a blood oath of darkness, I swore to give my own lifeblood to Ko. See, I definitely assumed, like, as soon as we saw this guy, I assumed it was going to be he stabs him, then goes to stab Ko, but before that happens, Ko makes the contracts. I swear to God, if this long-haired man says, yes, let the hatred flow through you, remember this, and, find me. If this is supposed to be a long con to make Ko super powerful and unlock his Mangekyo, I'm gonna lose my mind. This seal is very interesting for, like, being intentionally off-center. Like, I don't think it looks that great. Like, I'm not really getting anything particular, like, from why it's off-center, but it's a little distinctive, sure. And of course, we then have they're not really blood-related, but they are connected through the bonds of blood. Therefore, it's okay if you have a sibling and you're not blood-related to them. You're still, that's still okay. And, like, I'm not saying that as a negative. I just realized the tone of voice I'm using could come off as me insulting mixed families. I don't want to do that. What I mean is more of it feels weird that this has to come up so often in Japanese culture as a, as a statement of this is good actually. Like, it's weird that that is meant to be a progressive statement as opposed to just a, you know, a statement. We don't really need to hammer that in. But understandably, I get why that is something you would have to hammer in. Okay, so he's doing a little chomp. Is he gonna power himself up? Like, one of them is going to be superpowered as a result of this, right? Human child of my brood, offer your blood to protect my flesh. Okay, so is this where the scythe comes in then? It's, yeah, I mean, I may have seen it before, but I would much rather see something good that I have seen before than see something that I've never seen before that is extremely hurtful and bad and a wrong thing to, put out into the world. So, yeah, I'll take the wins where I can get them. Oh boy, yeah, that's some hard exposition. And this also immediately diffuses the problem of, oh, what if we have to prey on innocence in order to, help Ko when he's super hurts? Like, no, he can only have his brother's blood. But in exchange, he can unleash incredible power. So I guess it's more of a shapeshifty thing. Like, the blood is currently around him as a cloak, but then I imagine he'll be able to turn it into the big scythe. Okay, never mind. So it's his blood that becomes the big scythe. I mean, this comes off as extremely chuny, but at the same time, like, I do like some vampire fiction that is, super elaborate and over the top. It's just, it's really hard to do it without it coming off as extremely chuny. Ko is a special kind of vampire that can turn his own blood into any weapon he wants. We were raised by a royal vampire family. Okay. So we've got to also lock in the, Ko is, like, blood doesn't, how do I put this? Blood bonds don't matter, but it does matter that Ko is from a royal family, and this royal family also adopted, this human child and raised him. And because of his royal blood, he has secret special powers that other vampires don't have. I mean, I'm not a super big fan of the, like, the lineage is super important, but I would much rather have it be something in chapter 1, where it is just outright said, by the way, you're related to, the Demon King or whatever, as opposed to waiting until 100 chapters in and then saying, by the way, just so you know, your parents were super important. I wouldn't say this is fucking up the themes, but I would say that, like, the bonds of blood is such a loose theme. You can say basically anything you want about it. And I do think that in order to make the story impactful, you really should stick to one aspect of, this is what I mean when I say bonds of blood. And then if you want to explore the other ones, you should have other factions or, like, enemies or allies, like, stick to those. I feel like if you try to embody too much of them in a small group of characters, it gets real messy real fast. Was that a Cerebus? Because they got 3 stars from it, implying that that was 3 vampires. In which case, like, is that not just 3 fox demons that kind of just smashed their booties together? But yeah, I would definitely say that, like, I don't have a big problem with that misstep because the rest of the series really hammers in the idea of, being special is important. Or, like, having some sort of lineage or, something like that. Like, it is important. The real misstep is the statement of hard work can overcome natural talents. Or, like, hard work, how do I put this? Like, the series does say that hard work is important. Like, you need to, work hard as well as have natural talents. The misstep was really just having an arc that tried to split those 2 themes, as opposed to just not touching them for a while and then letting the theme of you gotta have important blood to, get bigger and bigger over time. Have I been mispronouncing Cerberus? That is the way I've always said it. Now the big question is, what does this family remember any of this? Or, like, what is going on here? I'm going to assume they probably just have their memories, like, their memories are hazy, like, they'll remember these years happening, but they don't remember them enough to know that they've antagonized him. Blood Oath of Darkness. Ah, how nostalgic. Reminds me of the age when humans were friendly towards vampires, although our fate was to wage war in the end. Very well, when the child has grown strong, return to me then. Foolish Izuki brothers. Now, I will cling on to the fact that this is not a, let your hatred flow through you and then fight me when you become stronger. But, I mean, it's very close to that. I mean, I guess the latter half is exactly that. It is a when the child has grown strong, return to me then. I was really trying to walk that one back, but no, I can't. I did call it. Oh, that's a real funky looking ear. Yeah, it's supposed to be piercing. I was wondering if that was like I don't know what I thought that was, but okay, it's definitely a piercing on his ear. I imagine then this is either like someone from a noble house that hated their noble house, or like it does seem like they weren't living as royalty, so they probably were trying to just get away from some sort of big vampire blood war disputes, and then this person came in and assassinated them. And we get to see the Ko actually being innocent and cute for once. Like he is, he's not being bitter or anything. He does just genuinely show happiness that he was able to help someone. Oh, Zaku, you're completely right. Like, if we are going to do the Uchiha parallel, it would make a lot of sense especially because vampires are very long-lived, presumably. Like, this could be their bastard brother, and then they, abandoned him and left and went somewhere else. And, honestly, it could be cool if this is Ko's blood-related brother, and he also had a partner who was a human being who he liked, and their parents killed that human or something. Like, it's very possible that their brotherhood could be the result of their parents screwing up once and then regretting it and then allowing, like creating this bond between human and vampire. See, I like this a little more than Vampire Seer's first chapter. It's still not great. It's still, yeah, it's not the best. But something about it was more fun to me than Phantom Seer's first chapter. I can't quite put into words what was worse, though. Because yeah, like I guess it's just that I don't really like the archetype of the main character in Phantom Seer. Like I jerk characters are something that I have a very particular taste for, and he does not fill that taste for me. And even the fact that his sister is supposed to be the counterbalance by making him do stuff and by being the one who's truly all powerful, yeah, it doesn't quite work for me. In comparison to everything else, the current ranking is me and Roboco and then Black Clover. I would solidly put this below Black Clover. This was a good Black Clover. It was a good me and Roboco. Yeah, Zaku, I would agree. This is a very workmanlike first chapter. This is a real IKEA manga. Or IKEA first chapter, I should say. Which is okay in its own right. Like, it's real tough. Because I've definitely talked to, like, especially fanfiction writers, people who have said, there's this concept I really want to do, but I can't just start the first chapter with this. So how do I get there? And I think it is better to do a workmanlike intro to a series and then pull out the things that are truly great about it. But the danger of that is also a lot of people might look at the first chapter and say, this was super workmanlike, I don't like it. That's everything. Like, I do think if your manga takes like until the end of the first volume to get good, it's not great. Like you should have worked a little harder. But I do think like the first 3 chapters, I think that's okay. Like your first chapter should have something that clearly states this is why the manga is good. Read it for this. And then after that, like I think you can give chapter 2 as a bit of a breather, a bit of a expanding the cast situation. But then by chapter 3, your chapter should be your manga should be off and running. Your manga should have the thing that people want to see in it already. Yeah, it does have very manhwa energy, especially this, like the pink energy blasting out of them. This feels like a manhwa effect. It feels like if I scroll down, I'm gonna see more. Anyways, that is our Blood Oath. I'm just gonna move on. You can probably keep talking about it a little bit as I go into Kokosei Kazoku Chapter 3. I should probably flip these around so it's Phantom Seer and then High School Family. Actually, no. Just in case anyone decides to skip out because they're planning on me doing Kokosei Kazoku first, all those Phantom Seer stands, I guess I'll do this as intended. So, let us move on to High School Family, Kokosei Kazoku, Chapter 3. Oh boy, that's a real special one. Okay, so thank you very much, mangaka, for recapping the base premise of the series. I have been thinking, by the way, I've been reading a lot of isekai for a project that has not been formally announced yet. I mean, I guess it may have been. We may have talked about it. I'll keep it in the dark for now. But needless to say, I've been reading and watching a lot of isekai as of late. And one thing that I love and hate is, of course, the trope of the super long title that explains everything you need to know about the series. And specifically how a lot of series don't really play into that. Like, if you're gonna do the long title that explains everything about the series, you don't really need to lead into it then. Like, people know what the series is about. Like, you should focus on something else then, because you have intrinsically, by using the cover and using the title of the series, you've given everyone the base ground of why they should read it. So in the same way, like, there's no real reason to lead people into this by saying, hey, guys, did you know the series is about a family that is going to high school? Not even his whole family winding up in the same class. See. Oh, boy. Now, I do not like this art style. I'm just gonna say it. This is not a series that I think looks good with shading and color. Like, the dad of the family is great. He has the best design. Like, his face justifies reading at least the first chapter. But, like, they look so wooden. It's so weird. Like, specifically, the father looking wooden I think works very well because he has a very stoic face. But, like, both his mom and his little sister look so weird here. The cat is also terrifying, but I mean, that is the gag. Fine, I'll live with it. I guess the main problem is it's not just that it looks gross to me, it's also that it's not funny to me. Like, if the comedy of this came from the fact that they don't look human, like if this was more of a Teenage Renaissance David situation, I think that'd be fine. Like, some of the biggest small chuckles I got out of David, I can't overstate it. I didn't laugh a lot with David, but a lot of the big chuckles I got were from like shots where the people look like statues and they play into that. You know, like the premise of the series. Oh, we're getting that shonen humor. You gotta love it. See, I think it's honestly really weird to be making up, like, to be yelling about this. Like, it is inherently weird that they are an entire family in the same class. Sure, but I wouldn't yell about it. I mean, this is school, not home. That's such an insane line. See, this panel I like. I can empathize with this girl who has the very weird cat staring at her. The cat is definitely number 2 on the list of reasons why you should watch the series. And by that, I mean basically these 2 panels right here. In the first 2 chapters, it did nothing. I mean, the cringy thing here is not having your whole family here. The cringy thing really is the people in the class whose arguments against having the family here are literally, this is school, not home. Why is there a family here? I mean, to be fair, I also did go to, like, my last school experience was university, and I guess I am thinking of my university class when I think of a class that had, like, you know, cats in it and, like, 40-year-old people. In high school, it is weirder. Oh boy, now how is this gonna go down? This doesn't feel like that kind of a series, but I would be down for a conclusion where it is, like, we do the, you know, meet me on the roof, and it is a high schooler fighting his dad. Now, I don't know if this is a gag or if this is just bad writing. Like, I'm willing to give this the benefit of the doubt of, you know, like, this is supposed to be a weird, cheesy, you know, way for him to be, you know, talking down the rest of the class. But it's also very possible this is just not well written. Okay, now Haruka has no excuse. Haruka should have good dialogue. Look at me, I'm only 8, I'm this much of a high schooler, grade schooler. Wait, what? Now, families are no good. You're in high school and you're still saying stupid stuff like that? This is definitely the strangest way that you could go about this. This family will be intruding on the best years of our lives. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a gag. What did she do? Did she make them all bento? That's what I'm going with. That could be interesting. Ah, she made gelatin cups. I see. Okay, that is pretty creepy. It is a good gag, but I don't know if one good gag justifies a chapter. Yeah, I mean, before I rank it, I gotta drop it. I mean, to be fair, the way in which I... Oh yeah, did I rank... no. Phantom Seer comes next. I forgot that I did not actually read Phantom Seer yet. Sorry. So, High School Family goes to the very bottom, for sure. But yeah, it's so lame. It's so not funny. I mean, even something like Mashal, which I don't really care for, at the very least, it's doing a thing where I get where the jokes are and they're okay. I get what is a joke and what is meant to be cringy or, bad writing. Whereas with this, I genuinely can't tell. Plus, like, if this were a scanlation, I would assume that the scanlators were just very bad at translating things because of how stilted the dialogue is. But to be fair, I don't really know how you would express some of these things in a way that is less stilted. Yeah, it feels very boomer. Is the series better than the author's comments? Every once in a while, I've tapped back into Mashal. I don't think I've caught up recently, but I'd say it's about on the same level as the author comments, roughly. Like, it's not that great. The action is very meh because the power system is very loosely defined, and a big part of it is just, just because people say that you're talented and strong doesn't mean you're gonna win, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that we understand how you won. Also, there's a lot of just, pointing at the screen and the super long fingers, which is okay, but it's not that cool, and it's also not really a gag. Yeah, let me put these dropped brackets on here and post the ranking so you can see what it is. Now, Zaku, this is a dangerous statement you are making. I will rank the author comments. This is probably a bad idea, and I feel like we're gonna have a lot of situations where it's pointless because it's gonna be at the very bottom. But I am nothing if not someone who listens to what the fans want. Which also means, of course, if everyone does not want me to do this, please post, don't rank the author comments, and I will not rank them. So, that is the series. Let's move on. I feel like a lot of people are also probably waiting for me to slog through the series that they know aren't going to be great to get to the good ones. GomuGomuFun, no. I... I can't imagine it being very fun to watch me rank each of the individual author comments. That said, for this one I might. I'll give it a shot. Okay, so underneath final ranking, I'll type out final author comments ranking. Alright, so with that, let's move on to Phantom Seer, Chapter 3. Now, this is definitely a gag, but... And, I like this reaction face, but I don't think this is very funny. I definitely smiled at it, though. I guess the main thing is, yeah, I'm really not super into, Katanagi as a character. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. Phantom Seer, Chapter 3, Name. Okay, I guess we're just introducing his kohai. Cool. Also, it doesn't seem like they're being called in due to a specific person being hurt or anything. Which is weird, considering that, Katanagi's whole thing is, I am selfish, and so I want to help people selfishly and also help people, be selfish. Yeah, the art style is fine. It's just... It's very tough for a series to get me entirely on the visuals or just the art style. Huh. See, it honestly does feel really weird that he works directly with Iori, as opposed to working for Iori's sister. Because it seems I thought the interplay was going to be, Iori it tries as hard as he can to not get involved with phantom exorcisms, but then he gets blackmailed or forced into it, and then eventually over time he slowly starts taking his own initiative. But it seems like he also just kind of does this sometimes. Okay, it's better if you don't say Katanagi. So I assume then that they probably are a special family with a special bloodline, and as a result, you should probably not just spread the information that they are in fact the secret Katanagi bloodline. I mean, I guess so. See, his characterization is also just sort of spotty, and to be fair, maybe it does tie together in a in a way that makes sense, but in the way it's being presented right now, it's not landing with me. So, what are they doing? Like, is there a specific incident that caused them to do this, or are they just going to an abandoned haunted place because they heard a rumor? Ah, there's reportedly a phantom that can help you become normal. So I imagine then a female phantom that has the power to consume the power of exorcists. But yeah, Zaku, I guess I would agree with that. Like, I also do not like that, he gets. The mangaka clearly wants him to be the abrasive character, but also the character that you wholeheartedly root for. And at the same time, he is the character who will go and fight phantoms, but he's also the character who will say, "Oh no, please, I don't want to fight the phantoms. I want to get out of this somehow, but I'm not going to try that hard, and I'm going to end up fighting the phantoms anyways." Like, you can definitely do a reluctant protagonist without it feeling quite that obviously, without being that surface value, I suppose. I see the series is also trying to do the bone collection, let's just do some reaction faces in the middle of serious conversations thing. And it's fine, I guess. It's fine. Okay, so acting as our spirit radar. Oh, okay, that's actually really cool. Like, that's actually way more subtle than I expected it to be. Wait, fan service? Where? Oh, the shots. Ah, the thigh service. Okay, I get it. You're like, I didn't even consider that this could have been fan service. Or, yeah. You know what I mean. So much, yeah. I feel like I'm being called out. Whenever I edit my videos, I do notice the conspicuously high amounts of yeah that I say. Oh, it's a big mood. Looks like we picked a dud. This supernatural occurrence isn't a girl phantom, it's a Sakabashira. Of course. Of course I would have known this. Pillars that are put in topside down, in other words, the opposite direction from how a tree grows, tend to attract phantoms. They become Sakabashira, which then creates phenomena such as poltergeists and illusions. I see. Oh, I really hope he does something cool that is not just, the big scary giant that he's not supposed to be using. Okay, yes. If I summon Ongyoki, the entire house will collapse, so he's got to have something else. Okubi. Oh, okay. Also, that is actually pretty cool that, before when we saw it, it had its mouth gaping open, and here, like, it looks fundamentally very different. It looks way more shonen, way more, like, character focused, way more like something you could put a little string on and then put on your keychains, like on the big massive keychains you have attached to your phone, of course. But yeah, it looks good. I like it. Shadow projection. Iori Senpai can create a doppelganger of any phantom he's absorbed. So, like, this isn't necessarily a normal, like, it's not a summon as much as it's him just creating a doppelganger. Whereas, like, I imagine then, yeah, like, Ongyoki is actually, like, captured. Yeah, this is very Higama, especially because, of course, like, like, this is a good way of showing that, yeah, he can capture monsters, or, like, he can beat them and then use their powers later. But I feel like this is going to be very Higama-esque then, in the sense of he's going to be using, like, we don't know what his capabilities are. Especially if he's been doing this for a while, because he must have a lot of different doppelgangers he can create then. Which then raises the question of, like, in what situation will he use which doppelganger? Yeah, it is. It's got the Toku energy. It's got that, you gain power from the things you fight. I like it. It's fine. Like, especially because, this is manga, there is no budget to what he can summon. It would be really cool if a big part of the series was, seeing all of these phantoms as, crazy monstrous things, and then seeing his interpretation of each phantom, like, when he gets to use it. Ah, they're famous, so it knows them. The Katanagi siblings. I see. That is why in chapter 3 they had to start not using their names. Oh man, this actually feels It feels so weird reading this so close to the first series that I read this time. Our Blood Oath, because it's got, the special siblings with the special magic. Yeah. I do think this was the best way to do it. I was going to say they could have done it in chapter 2, but then that would also feel very weird if it was... Like, I do still think it was a misstep to use Ongyoki again in chapter 2. Especially for something like this, where it is, oh, I'm in a cramped area, I can't summon Ongyoki, so I'll just summon his arm. Whereas this time around, it was we can't summon Ongyoki here because he'll destroy the house, so I'm going to not just summon his arm, I'm just going to summon Okubi. I'd say I would rather have, like, a bunch of good series that are killed before their time, as opposed to a bunch of really bad series that get annihilated. Because, like, especially right now, like, in this current era of Jump, where I feel like, last year even, Jump was super harsh, but because of the harshness, like, so many series have ended, so many series that were very good naturally finished. Like, we are in a state right now where, like, really good series could cement themselves here. Like, it is... I could easily imagine a time in Jump where, like, around, like, Assassination Classroom's run, where something like Undead Unluck could have run and could have been canceled because there are too many things that people really like in series that people cannot possibly cancel, like Kochikame. Or, maybe Hunter x Hunter is also running for a bit at that point. Actually, never mind. I forgot the trivia that at no point between the start of Assassination Classroom and the end, at no point in between that did Hunter x Hunter run. But okay, so, with no further ado, let's dive back in. And of course, we then take his selfishness, his desire to not have people call him by his, by his actual name, because it's too close. But now we have shifted it into we've never met. It's, yeah. Okay, and so, we are, yeah. I mean, that sure is a conclusion. See, Yori's morals as a human and his awareness as an exorcist are lacking. I hate him. Alright, so I'm gonna just draw Phantom Seer. It's been 3 chapters, have not been super into it. I won't say anything bad about the art. The art is fine. It's just... the rest of it is not great. I will put it above our Blood Oath. I think that's fair. But yeah... Also, I'm very glad that my internet evened out, because it would have been extremely tragic if I'd shown you guys our Blood Oath, High School Family, Kokosei Kazoku, and Phantom Seer, and then I said, that's it, that's the stream. I'm just gonna record the rest by myself. Yeah, I'd say none of those series really shake my brain matter very much. Well, at least 2 of them have, I mean... the series I don't like have been removed for the most part. So, let's dive into something that I genuinely really like, and something that is... I mean, this is the final chapter, for now at the very least. Hopefully there's more. We're going into... oh no, homie, you're gonna say something! Oh no, I gotta hit those brakes! I did? Wait, I did? Okay. We have... Burn the Witch, Chapter 4. Oh boy, this is some real Kubo writing. Oh no, homie, no! If a lion could speak, if a lion could speak, we couldn't understand. Oh no. Oh boy. That might be the worst thing I have ever had my phone write. Oh, that is not what I thought Man, Kubo is, if nothing, an innovator. And I mean, I do appreciate that he is the kind of person who can make a bunch of very varied character designs, but he doesn't feel the need to make every character, like, unbelievably distinct to the point where, like, they don't, like, have any connection to each other visually. Like, it is pretty bold that we have, in, this shot of 3 characters, we have 2 people wearing suits, but different colors, and then 2 people wearing the same color, but, radically different outfits. Like, they all have very distinct different flavors, but they're all... it doesn't feel like they're trying unbelievably hard to be 100% different from one another. I mean, that said, these 2 side by side, like... That is a hard contrast as to what a member of the Top of Horns looks like. I can't say that she is Rule 63 Shinji unless she smiles. Like, if you don't have the Shinji teeth, you're not Shinji. I would say, like, even though his bangs are very iconic, the teeth are really what make Shinji Shinji. But I mean, specifically, the fact that it is a window and also it is shaped like a heart, it's so powerful. Oh yeah, you're right, it is a double window. Like, the overall cloak she's wearing has a window to, I guess, just more of the cloak, actually. It's not leggings like I thought it might be. And oh yeah, there's almost nothing there. Extremely powerful look. Kubo is Kubo is the ultimate fashion designer. Also, she has what looks like, I guess those are two separate scarves, or one, like, very long scarf that are, tied above and below her boobs. It's a really, like, powerful look. Everyone else feels kind of, like, not lazy by comparison, but, like, they're not too insane in what they look like. I still can't believe that the head of Pipers is this guy, and that he also hasn't really been important at all, surprisingly. Also, let us dive into the phrase, "If a lion could speak, we couldn't understand." That is some high Kubo. I imagine then that this is going to be, like, what is the name of the dragon? Was it Ellie? I think it is going to be a situation where, like, they have to put down the dragon or something because, like, they can't fundamentally understand it. Like, even if, you can love this dragon, even if this dragon isn't a dark dragon, there's still a fundamental disconnect in the way they are, or in their nature, that means that they have to put down. I think that's what we're going for. Apart from the head of Pipers, it feels like anyone in this lineup would be capable of saying, "Your son calls me mommy/daddy." Just in different ways for most of them. I mean, even then, if the head of Pipers went to your house and said, "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Homie, your son calls me daddy," like, that'd be a powerful conversation to have. I'm not too concerned. Whatever it is fine. Huh, that's actually, yeah, I didn't notice that at all, homie. Thanks for bringing it up. But okay, so, I mean, this has to be a fight chapter, right? So I guess it is Nini fights Macy, and then Noelle fights or Noelle protects Balgo. And then, of course, yeah, it is Ellie. So she, of course, is coming in because it feels like, like it feels like Macy's about to be attacked. Is that it? Was that stealth scale? It's a real, you ain't a real friend unless you sit down and listen to me go through all of the horrible jump starts that I inevitably have to drop. But okay, so it is a high level dragon technique. And yeah, it hasn't gone dark or anything. So this isn't a dark dragon. Like, it's not going berserk and just attacking them because they're humans. I do think it is fundamentally trying to help Ellie. Or not Ellie, her name, Macy. Please show me that good design. It's got sort of a phoenix thing going on to it. Like, the tail feels very, like, fiery, very flowy. And then the rest of it has a very, like, almost feathery design to it, or I guess it's more fur than feathers. I mean, it's good, but I can't look at this background and not think, yes, we are in Huecamundo. This is definitely the Huecamundo screen tone. I mean, Pep, can you not tell your boss that, you just need to listen to this? Can you not just put me on the intercom? I'm willing to talk to your boss in order to make this happen. Zaku, I feel like there's a difference between Huecamundo and nighttime. I can't quite express what that difference is, but there is a distinction there. I'm pretty sure if you look up in the night sky in Karakura City, it doesn't look like this background. I feel like this is very distinctly Huecamundo. Actually, were there clouds in Huecamundo? I might be completely screwing myself over now that I think about it. Also, yeah, it looks so different. So what happened? I mean, it's not a disguiser. It's likely that it molted in the moonlights. Stealth scale, molting in the moonlight, and those 6 talons. Without a doubt, that thing's... One of the Martian. Oh boy, that's Americans, right? They're rumored to have existed even before the formation of Reverse London. 7 dragons likened to and named for fairy tales. Oh boy, which fairy tales did Kubo choose for this one? Martians. Okay. That sounds a little too close to Martians for my liking, but I will actually pronounce it as intended. That said, also, if anyone has, if anyone knows anything else, do let me know if this is supposed to be Martians, but it is in kanji, it means Great Demon God or something. Because of course that is a classic Kubo move. Incidentally, I would like to take the small pause to say that I can never go back to using Twitch or YouTube or anything. I really appreciate, the zero latency on Discord, like the actual zero latency, in which someone can say before you continue and I can pause, as opposed to on YouTube where it is someone says before you continue and I'll probably end up talking through it, or I have to take a very long pause. Which fairy tale do you think Ellie is? Uh, Ellie. I mean, Cinderella, right? That would make sense. Because, like, when I think Ellie, I do think Ella Enchanted, which is itself a spin on Cinderella. Like, what else is Ellie? Oh, yes, that. That is definitely a written like this, pronounced like that. I've seen enough Bleach Raws, and by Bleach Raws I mean 1 or 2, to immediately know when Kubo is doing the you say it like that, like this, you mean it like that. The middle kanji means story. Okay. But okay. Also, did anyone read or watch the anime series Mare, which was, M-A with the umlaut R? Because I'm pretty sure that series' full title was something like Martian Unleashed or something. Ah, it means fairy tale. So I see. There's still one kanji missing between, the literal German word and whatever it is supposed to mean in Japanese. Okay, Snow White, red dress. Red dress, I assume then is Little Red Riding Hood. Golden Axe, which is of course a game, but it is, apart from being a Sega game, it, I assume, is the tale of, the man with axe drops the axe into the water, and then a spirit shows up and says, would you like this gold axe? Did you drop this golden axe? And then he says no. Bubbles, okay. I didn't even notice the images here. So this one is, I guess, just icicles for Snow White, then red dress. I guess this is supposed to be Little Red. Then golden axe is the axe. Bubbles is okay, it's a tail, so it has to be the Little Mermaid. Sugar House would be Hansel and Gretel, and then Band of Animals. What is Band of Animals? Because also presumably this is what the dragons actually look like. Like, Snow White probably does look like a giant snowflake, but it's all, it's a living thing. Red dress is probably a I just said it earlier in the chapter, a disguiser. Golden axe, I imagine the trick there is going to be that it's, like its tail looks like a big golden axe or something. Then Bubbles would have a big fish tail. Sugar House probably looks like a house and traps children inside of it. I'm really hoping that, because then that would mean that Band of Animals, which looks like a bunch of animals standing on each other, would actually be a big dragon that looks like a bunch of horses standing on top of each other. Or I guess that can't be a horse. This looks more like a horse, but this looks more like a like small big cats, like, a baby puma or something. The kanji for gotta say it properly. The kanji for Martians means fairy tale dragon. Okay, fair enough. So it really is just adding in the dragon part of it. The one with the horse, cat, dog, and rooster. No, I actually don't. That would make sense. Like, that is definitely a rooster tail here, then cat, then dog, then there's definitely 5 animals here though. Like, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that looks way more like a horse. 10 musicians of Bremen. Huh. No, I'm actually completely unfamiliar with that. I mean, we're definitely not getting to it in this chapter, but I do want to at least, like, jog my memory to see if we did see this, or if I am aware of this fairy tale. No, absolutely not. Oh, that's a big shame. Like, I've definitely read a bunch of Grimm Brothers fairy tales, and I really like animals, so I'm very surprised I haven't seen this at all. Okay, I'm not going to read the synopsis or anything. I will save that for some other point in which I want to read a fairy tale. I mean, that's a big Kubo move. And said only to only molt to a full-fledged dragon in the moonlight, Cinderella. Which is not exactly Cinderella's thing. Like, Cinderella's thing is that her power runs out at midnights. Okay, no kanji for these names. I mean, assuming, at this point, I do assume, I'll wait until the end, but I am assuming that Kubo is definitely, like, this is everything I want to say with Burn the Witch. I think he is definitely doing I'm gonna put out a little Burn the Witch, and if people like it, they can ask for it, and then I'll do a little more later. Like, I do think he's doing an intentional Togashi situation. Like, instead of running a series and then taking big breaks, I think what Kubo's trying to do with Burn the Witch is just, release the storylines as people want them or as he makes them. So that way he gets to, like, continuously release content without being stuck in the situation of being serialized. The origin of the name comes from its distinctive biology, as it only matures nocturnally, as well as from star ash, the dust that scatters when agitated. Anything that comes in contact with that dust, is engulfed in light, according to my reference book. Now, I don't remember this being a thing Cinderella does. I feel like nothing relating to this dragon has anything to do with the story of Cinderella. Like, even the crown, like, Cinderella is a princess, sure, but, okay, so it already has a sequel, or, it's already going to do a season 2. But yeah, I'm actually really hoping that, I should probably save this for after the chapter's over. Let me just do that. Because I have thoughts, but I don't need to put them in right here. Let's actually read the manga. But okay, so, Volgo gets a stay of execution. Maybe he'll do something to help. Probably not. Like, I feel like that's going to happen. I feel like he's going to have some sort of full bringer ability, or he's going to have, like, some sort of half-dragon ability. But it's also very possible that he is just around to suffer. Martians are the progenitors of dark dragons. Okay. Huh. What does that mean? Wait, what? Wait, what? Let me talk about this real quick. From what it seemed like before, it seemed like dark dragons were, like, if normal dragons are pluses by definition, then dark dragons are like hollows. But this makes it seem like dark dragons are a species of dragons. I mean, maybe what he is saying is, like, they are the origin of the concept of dragons attacking humans, and therefore, like, without them, other dragons would not have the potential of becoming dark dragons, perhaps. Maybe. I guess I can see it. That's not what I would think of when I think of Arankar, but yeah, it's fine. I get it. Humanity's hypothetical enemy. Never thought I'd see one with my own eyes. Now that's electrifying. Oh, I'm so happy that Kubo, took the time to slide in like a character who wears a mask that looks cool. Like, I don't know if Kubo's been doing fashion stuff at all on the side. Like, I know he's been doing other projects, like character designs and whatnot, but I really want to see him launch a fashion line. Like, even if it's a super limited thing with, like 1 or 2 pieces each season, or like, just 1 or 2 pieces whenever he wants to do it. He has so many cool ideas for fashion. Yeah, it's so perfectly aligned. I guess that's the thing, like, a skull mask is pretty common. I feel like, I saw those way before, the pandemic started. And then having the filters on it isn't that big of a deal, but specifically the way it shapes to his face looks really, really good. And, like, the way it bleeds into his hairline, like, he has to have his hair specifically cut in order for this to work, right? I ain't fighting it, I'm killing it. I mean, he is the top, the top of horns for the inks, so this could be a cool way of showing, what a Western captain can do. It also means then that our main characters, like, don't have to be strong enough to fight a member of the top of horns, while still, showing off how cool he is. But yeah, Bruno's got that Renji slash Grimjow slash the guy with the burner finger from, like he's got that energy to him. He is the guy that you fight, but eventually he'll be on your side, but he'll also be taken out at the start of every arc. He's got that energy to me. Okay, let's see how cool this is. Come on, I need to see it. I need to see a cool fight. Huh, fair point actually. Like that would also mean that I don't know what else they would do then. Like it would be very weird and atypical for our two main characters just not get involved at all in this chapter. But it does make tactical sense for them to prioritize protecting their friends over, just trying to fight this mythical dragon. Also, the wing with, the big slash in it looks so good. Oh, right, the Star Ash. By the way, I've been talking a lot about Bleach as of late, and I can confidently say that has nothing to do with the secret project that I'm working on. That is just a function of existing and also having calls with Zaku. I feel like I could talk endlessly about Bleach. Not to the point where I would want to, like, release a podcast about it, but enough where I can. And that actually is very nice that, the book doesn't have detailed information on how to beat this dragon, and also Noelle doesn't happen to have, like, she didn't just memorize how to beat this specific mythical dragon that she thought she'd never be able to see. Like, yeah, that's good. Okay, Ink's red. Oh, release code 0575, unlock. Oh, and he's spraying it onto the dragon's wing, I just noticed that. Okay, so he can do summonings. Or, I mean, because he's saying release code, is he going to summon another dragon, perhaps? Like like they have them locked in cells and he has the authority to release them if necessary? Hunger Shadow. I mean, we've seen, especially from the one-shot, that a dragon can look like basically anything. So, yeah, this is probably a dragon. I mean, it's not gonna be that easy, of course, right? Yeah, not quite. Even Hunger Shadow couldn't draw a drop of blood, huh? Okay, cool. Ah, good points. I wonder if... I mean, it is actually very surprising that we haven't had anything akin to, Shunpo or Sonido or Hiranraku or, Bringer Lights. Like, so far, it does seem like that's not a thing that witches and wizards have. Like, which is why they need to use dragons as brooms to move around. No, please, not British Shunpo. But I honestly really like that as a way to also differentiate the fight style from Bleach, in that there is no, like, we cannot have a fight that looks like a Bleach fight then. If, in order to get into the air, like, air is an absolute advantage. In order to be in the air, you need to use a dragon. Like, oh, if anyone, Balgo might do that eventually. Like, I could see that being because he is part dragon, he has the ability to fly, which is, unrivaled amongst anyone else except for other half dragons. It's a flash step in it. Now. That's a unfortunate part of biology for Cinderella to have evolved a crown that also has a big artery flowing through it that contains all of its blood. Though to be fair, like, we don't know how these dragons came to be. So it probably is more of a spiritual thing. Like, it is very possible that it has a biological weak point there because it was designed with a biological weak point there. So I'm not going to give it too much mockery or anything. I'm cool with it. And yeah, fair. They're fighting a fairy tale. I mean, it's more information than, they have. And there is no real downside to trying it at the very least. Like, if it doesn't work, it's still a biological thing. They can still just try to shoot it in the face. Oh, I also do appreciate the big contrast of, in the one shot, they really, really wanted to join Piper, or not Pipers, they wanted to join Sabers. But it's not that they hate being in Pipers. Like, they don't want to go to Inks. Oh, yeah, it's another keto. Not quite as good in terms of the keto poems, but I mean, I'll live with it. It's fine. Now, what is this going to look like? It is 68. I could probably look up. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if this is a Keto or a Hado. I also I didn't look up. I didn't look it up to make sure that the previous one they used was actually a Keto slash Hado, or that had an equivalent. Homie, how could you forget the chance? I mean, perhaps you forgot them because of the many fights where characters use Keto, and not only like sometimes they just say the number name, and then occasionally, like in the Hisagi versus, oh, what was his name? Findor, that's right. I was thinking of the Hisagi versus Findor fight, where at one point Hisagi just starts shooting Kido, and it is just energy blasts. Like, I think he says the name once, but then after that point, he just kind of spams them. And also, to be fair, I guess Rukia does that as well. But okay, so that isn't 6 bars of lights. And yeah, these are more like spears than the big bars of lights. So I guess they might be fundamentally different. Greedy curtain. Oh, oh, that looks so cool. I mean, is this a, like, oh, God, is this a dragon that just looks like graffiti? Like, oof. It looks like it could be tentacles, but it also looks a lot like just straight up graffiti. Also, it is just like cutting away the like the space where the sound effect should be. I wonder if Get Over Here is like, is that an affectation of his, or is that actually a part of the chance? Because it does seem like he is just summoning them from some sort of jailing system. But maybe he does have to directly command them to get over here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is definitely, oh my gosh, that looks so cool. I mean, this is peak Kubo. This is, what if I drew really cool text, and also the really cool text was a thing that existed in the series, and it fell all over a monster. Just choke. Oh my god. Yeah, I can't read anything up here, so just choke feels like the best possible way you could read this. Okay, yeah, so it isn't meant to kill it. It is just meant to, like, daze it, and then they'll strike the horn. Just choke you. Maybe. I could see that being a Y-O-U. In that case, it feels like this might also be a word, but I mean, it's almost impossible to, like, it looks like just zeros or O's or something. God, I can't get over this. This is so Kubo. Oh, maybe, homie. Yeah, I could see that. Okay, what? I mean, are they going to be able to snipe it? Okay, I may have misunderstood what the plan was. Because clearly, Bruno thought the explosion would be fine. Yeah, it's gonna look phenomenal. I could they better not mess that part up. That is, if anything is going to look really coolly animated in this entire movie, it has to be that scene. Plus, I imagine it'll actually be a lot easier to read with, like, I'm assuming that each letter is a different color, or, like it's a bunch of different colors and they're all alternating. I don't think it's all gonna be one color. So, I mean, it still doesn't make sense with his, as soon as you stick your head out, your time's up. But clearly the idea was it'll scatter its bombs all over the place and then it'll blow itself up. Oh, Pep. Okay, that also makes sense. Like, he just didn't realize it had that level of firepower. He didn't realize that it could set off that much power at such close range and not be hurt. See, in any other series, I would assume that they wouldn't kill Ellie, but based on the one shots where they do build up the emotional value of a dragon and then immediately murder it and blow it into pieces, I think we're going for something like that as well. Like, I think they are going to blow its head off. I mean, does Ellie just want to pick her up and, like, take her away from here? I mean, we could also get the big betrayal scene where it attacks her. I already told you, that isn't going to work. No matter how much you love them, you just can't reach someone you can't get through to. I mean, to be fair, they didn't give it time. Like, this was a situation where, like, it was shivering. It's very possible that it was going to release the bombs, so it makes total sense that they would attack it. But it's also possible that it may have been trying to do something else. I mean, I do really like that ambiguity. Okay, it launched the bombs. Like, yeah, that would also explain the glittering sounds. Ah, okay. Yeah, I think that could have been shown a little bit better, and I do think the movie will do a better job of that. Like, specifically, like, if we saw a blast hitting one of the bombs, that would have made it a lot clearer to me that they didn't just, immediately start attacking without any provocation. Oh, and then, yeah, this absolutely goes back to the start of the chapter, or the start of the miniseries, when Ninny has the whole talk about aren't fairy tales full of it. That makes, and that ties together the Cinderella thing. It's perfect. Hmm. You and everyone else have no idea why the spell wears off, but the reason it fades partway through is because the power was never yours. Macy, we're the ones who cast the magic, aren't we? It's an interesting statement for this. Like, it is this fundamental statement, I think, of the witches saying, we do use dragons, but, like, we don't have dragon partners. Like, this isn't Digimon. This isn't a situation where you can trust dragons. Like, they are ultimately tools. And I do think that actually fits very well with soul societies, like with the Asauchi, for instance, which are essentially just, very, very weak, formless, like, hollows that they then, use as Zanpakuto. Like, there's much more, like, there's a direct correlation of this is, like, this is good, I suppose? Like, like, there is an actual partnership there. Whereas it seems like in the Western world, it is more of a, like, human-animal partnership. Like, not even human pet, but specifically humans and animals. It really feels like Balgo isn't going to get to do anything. I also do find it amusing that I keep on harping on Balgo, but we do also know Osushi has a big dark dragon inside of it, but we just do not mention that at all. And I personally don't think it's ever going to come up again, apart from, like, the big wings coming out of it and stuff. I don't think, like, the literal dragon form inside of Osushi's body is ever going to physically come back out. Okay. Okay. Oh, first of all, really cool look. Like, it's such a simple thing. Like, it is a super cheap, generic looking pipe, but then I don't think I've ever seen this specific design of it's a generic pipe and then there's just a blade coming out of it, so it has the shape of a sword. Like, it works so perfectly. Oh, and Osushi put out, one of its little wings. What's this? Balgo is such a perfect little cinnamon bun. I mean, Balgo and Osushi together are absolutely perfect. Like, Osushi, like, licking his neck in the background is so good. I wonder if this is supposed to be a tiny implication of, like, Osushi wants to eat him a little more because he has this power. Cinderella stopped. Now, is this a situation where, like, I could see the, like, if we're going to continue on with the, they have to take care of more and more dragons thing, I could see a situation where our two witches, like, where Cinderella takes Balgo as her, like, as her prince, and then they also have to conserve Cinderella from now on. Oh no! Oh no! Never mind. That is not where I thought we were going. See, in chapter 1, I completely misread the blowing their head off thing. With this one, I just misread the idea that this would be a death. Like, it really felt like we were going somewhere else. And I don't mean that as a negative. What is Billy? What in the world? I can't believe this. Also, he didn't even do it with a pipe or anything. He just did a big finger gun attack. That is wild. No, Zaku, you ruined it. You absolutely ruined the scene. Oh no. Oh no. This also, like, I thought if we were going to drop anything, that we might drop whatever's going on with Billy right now. Like, with him initially going to Piper's and then, or sorry, going to Saber's and then immediately leaving Saber's and then, like, showing up here for some reason. Completely left my mind. I didn't think we were going anywhere with that. To be fair, we still haven't really gone anywhere with that. This is not a thing we were building up to. It seems like he is just in the Wingbind building and he also sniped this dragon for... I wonder then, actually, was it that Cinderella had, like, whether she was going to attack Balgo or whether she was going to submit to him or whatever? I imagine then, like, there must have been some sort of interesting interaction that was about to happen that he wanted to intentionally stop. But yeah, I do think not a big part of Kubo's, like, style, but I think something he really likes is, creating characters with excessive amounts of style and then intentionally, like, having really shabby characters, quote unquote, do really cool things. Like the hard contrast between the character design slash outfit that you think looks very rough with them doing a really cool thing. 5 points and 5 pounds. Oof. Okay, you know what? That is actually like I won't say it's clever, but it is a good use of you know, the main characters do get involved in a big thing and then they barely get rewarded. Because yeah, like if they're the ones who are paying for this, then it would make sense that they would actually be given a fair amount of money and then they have to immediately lose all of it because of all the destruction. Besides, it says here the director Bangknife is the one who delivered the finisher. I wonder how that works out. I mean, I guess Bruno may have just lied. Or depending on whether Bruno knows what happened or not. Like, he could have just assumed that he was the one who killed him. It's also possible that that Billy, like, that the two of them were working together. Homie, I think I'll wait a little bit before I answer that one. I feel like I'll have a better answer once we're done the chapter. Ooh. Also, like, maybe they'll have like a cool I don't know what they would do specifically, but like Cinderella has a bunch of different horns that they could probably turn into trumpets at the very least. I could definitely see them getting some sort of upgrade or, just like something to commemorate this arc as a result of Cinderella being destroyed. Ah, oh, she's a light case of a dragonclad. Oh, they're building up not a harem necessarily, but I really like the idea of them like over the first few arcs, just slowly building a large cast of people they just have to have around. Man, Ninny is so cute when her hair is doing the cat ear thing. So good. Also, I imagine she might actually have really interesting abilities if the dragon particles are specifically based around the dragon that you're in close contact to. Because that would also mean that Osashi is, slowly giving Balgo more and more dragon particles, where she would just have Cinderella's in her, but, they'd be special probably. Oh, they could set it up so that she doesn't have powers at all unless she's in the moonlight. So he gave up on hunting Balgo. Now, is it because of the sword? Or, yeah, because there's no way he would do it out of the goodness of his heart, especially if killing a dragonclad would make you famous for all eternity, which also feels extremely wild. Balgo Parks came into contact with Macy Balger 2 months ago. If that served as a trigger for Cinderella's appearance, that is enough reason to keep him alive. Oh, okay. That is insane. It's so cute. But oh my gosh. This is actually a really, this is fundamentally I have the special blood or I have the extremely powerful spiritual energy that then causes monsters to attack me. But now there's a very specific reason why he's around. Like, it's not just we'll keep him around and dragons are going to attack. It is specifically that they want to kill these specific dragons. I'm relieved to find I did not overestimate the son of a hero. And she is just patching it up. Okay. So he was definitely doing it as a secret. Like, no one's supposed to know about it. She was able to figure it out just, immediately. But she is covering it up. Interesting. Yeah, we really are just building towards something. This is definitely not a one and done short series. So much setup. Also, it is pretty wild that for the many, many color pages we've had of Noelle and Ninny, just palling around, we do end this off with the two of them not really being any closer than they were before. But now we have Balgo and Noelle, at the very least, I'll take this as, some level of friendship, some level of emotional openness. I'm not calling this a ship or anything. And I do think, Balgo not using the sword at all thing, like, it is actually a very strong parallel to in the one shots when we see Osushi come out of the dog for the first time. Because if you'll note, he comes out of the dog, he is a very big black traditional dragon, and then we never talk about that again. Like, it's not it could be oversight, but I highly doubt it. It is Kubo very intentionally having this big Vulcan character show up, and it is a big scary thing. And then the next time we see Osushi, the dragon is just back in the dog, and we don't talk about it. I mean, it is very obvious that the dog is possessed, and also it asks to see Nini's knickers. But like like the rest of society does not mention the second dark dragon that was there at that big fight. There's something about that I just find extremely charming. And same with this, like, they are subversions, but they don't feel like tropey subversions. They don't feel like a graduate student is laughing behind my back and going, ah, did you like that I took the thing that they did in Star Wars and I didn't do it? It's a subversion that does not need to be there. I find it weirdly charming. Anyways, that was Burn the Witch Chapter 4. That is the end of this mini run of, I guess, Season 1. And I like it. I would really, really adore it if Kubo does, like, for a while. This is absolutely not true, but when Roberta's Blood, what is that arc called again? The Black Lagoon arc, the second to most recent arc, Roberta's Blood Trail. When Roberta's Blood Trail was being serialized, I thought what Black Lagoon was doing was that it was moving to a, whenever the mangaka has a good idea for an arc, he'll write out the arc and then release the arc and then, just stop until it is time to do another arc. That is not at what happened at all. We're still on the wired red wire? Was that what it is? But that has stopped and started like 2 or 3 times over the last like 5-10 years, maybe. But I really like the idea of a manga that does that, and I know manhwa do that a lot more, where there are like clear seasons, and in between the seasons, the creator just just takes a break, doesn't do anything, probably works on stuff in the background, but there isn't supposed to be movement. It is just a hard not doing stuff right now. Ooh, okay. Let me pull this up so everyone can see it. Or by everyone, I mean the YouTube audience, not you filthy, filthy live watchers. Huh, cool. Yeah, like, can't really get a lot from this apart from just, I assume this is where Bruno was, like, summoning the various dragons from. Like, this is probably where they store certain very important dragons. Yeah. It's like a museum, but especially with the floating thing here. Like, maybe they are separate dimensions or something. Like, they look like they're containers, but they're actually, like, you can look into different dimensions they keep each of these dragons in, or something. They could also just be dead, I guess. But this is, I guess so. I guess that would be a much easier explanation now that I think about it. But yeah, not a lot of big giveaways. I don't want to, like, stare at it too hard. Ah, man, Burn the Witch, so good. I definitely, like, I'm very excited to see more, and I do really like the idea of Kubo just, sitting back and letting Shueisha come to him, or, like, because he did all of this before he released any of it, I would like it if, just whenever he feels like it, he completes a chunk of Burn the Witch and then says to Shueisha, hey, if you want it, clear some room, cancel a couple of series, let me run this. No witches have been burnt. That said, was anyone bleached in Bleach? Arguably, yes. Arguably, the whole core mechanic of Bleach was originally the idea of killing someone with a Zanpakuto, then cleanses all of their sins. Slash, performing Kanso on them also cleanses them and allows them to go to Soul Society, where they will then suffer, where they will almost certainly statistically go out to the outskirts of the Rukongai and then live a bad life being stabbed to death by criminals. Or occasionally being stabbed to death by Mayuri when Sarate when the heads of Sarate tell him, hey, there's a big imbalance in the number of souls between each realm, and we can't just pop over to Hueco Mundo and murder a bunch of hollows, so we gotta just murder a bunch of poor people. in the same way, I guess then Burn the Witch should eventually come up in Burn the Witch, but I don't know in what way it will. Homie, do you not remember the White Invasion in Bleach? I would say that the White Invasion was also a big instance of bleaching in the sense of, you know, like a big incurrence of. I mean, to be fair, I was looking at the Bleach wiki recently, and it is notable that up until, I want to say, the Fullbringer arc, and I don't think these are canon names, but up until, like, excluding the first arc, like, between the first arc and the Fullbringer arc, every arc in between there was labeled some sort of invasion. Which makes sense, considering that almost every arc in Bleach is an invasion of some sorts. But specifically, the wiki uses White Invasion to refer to the first half of the Karakura City arc, like when Aizen is invading Karakura City, quote-unquote, but it's actually the fake Karakura because the real one has been sent to Soul Society. Anyways, that is all to say that I adore Bleach, I adore Kubo's work, I'm very into Burn the Witch right now. And yeah, like if we do just occasional like 4-chapter arcs that all like I'd like to see the Top of Horns, like each member of the Top of Horns do something. I think that'd be cool. Like if we have arcs that kind of focus a little on all of them, yeah, I'd be into it. I mean, what's going on with Mayuri is, I mean, I don't think anyone knows. I don't think we have information on what Mayuri would look like if he didn't look the way he does. There was that one shot, after he melted himself and reformed, when he looked, we saw like a silhouette of him, and he looked very average, I think, but he was just like a vague silhouette. And then every time we've seen him dead on, it's been a variation of, his look. Like, the look. I don't think we know that the face in prison was the normal face. Because when he was in prison, like, he looked like a variation of how he usually looks. I kind of assumed that, that was the result of him performing experiments upon himself. Wait, did we see his face? Sorry, I'm just gonna look this up real quick. Oh boy, I completely messed that one up. The second result was Mayuri Kurasuchi real face. Oh my god, you're right! Oh boy! I completely forgot that we saw this. So yeah, I guess we could say that his usual look is a combination of whiteface and blackface, because he does, like, his skin is tanned on some level. So he is capable of offending a large number of groups. I guess you could also count the golds. Like, yeah. The only part of him that is not, messing around is the hair. Like, the hair is still, I guess, arguably his real hair. Which is honestly wild. That's some real Buggy insanity. Or actually, no. Yeah, because Buggy has blonde hair. Yeah, I mean, Mayuri is definitely someone who learns that something is offensive and then immediately does it. And then he says, it was just a social experiment. I just went through Kongai and said a whole bunch of big racial cusses because I was attempting a social experiment. And also, I needed to balance out the number of souls in each realm, so I then murdered everyone that I cussed at. Okay, that's enough. I gotta stop. I gotta actually read the chapters as opposed to blathering on about other things. My final rating is, it's better than, I don't know if it's better than Me and Roboco, but it feels like it in my heart. Me and Roboco was a really good chapter this week. I'm gonna give it a little tag there. And yeah, please, if I'm getting too podcasty, force me to stop. I will do so. But yeah, Burn the Witch right at the top. Let us move on to Undead Unluck, number 31, Revolution. No, I refuse, homie. I won't be one of those normies who starts a project, and then the appeal of the project is not, in fact, the thing that they were doing, but is, in fact, the person behind the projects. That sounds heartwarming, but it should not be heartwarming. It should be a failure to adhere to the project that they are doing. I will have fundamentally cursed Weekly Shonen Jump if I ever get to the point where I just, like, let you guys unmute and you can all talk while I'm also reading the chapters. That is the last bastion of being good. Oh, I really like these pair-offs. Like, I don't know if... I guess I wouldn't say that they're, like, very character based apart from, the very bottom. But yeah, they look good. It's a strong aesthetic. It's also like, I really appreciate that, like, the one, we have done, like, there have been 10 people in the Union up until this point. And the series has done a lot of cool stuff with just, this is what the Union is. We're going to have things be kind of symmetrical. We're going to have everyone play off of each other. And then now that we have 11 people, immediately the mangaka does the 5 on one side, 5 on the other side, leader in the middle. Like something that could not have been done prior to having 11 people. Anyways. Yes, we were getting those quests. Gimme those quests. Apocalypse, please. By the way, I feel like I talk about this every single time Apocalypse comes up, but I do like the duality of, Apocalypse in common culture meaning, the end of the world. But in the, in the Bible, an apocalypse is more of a, a message, a prediction of the future. Like, the apocalypse, a lot of the non-canonical apocalypses are not talking about the end of the world. They are just, like, texts that talk about the future in general. So, what is this? What quests are we getting? These quests have the 100th penalty at stake. This round, the quests are open to everyone. Every living person on Earth will have the right to participate. Okay. So that is something we have not seen before. That then completely removes the... Yeah, it removes the restriction of, only the Union can do X, or only the Union can do Y. Which means, of course, that, like, Under, and also, like, even a third faction, if there's another faction out there, like, anyone can try to do this. But yeah, since Under seems to be very, like, not new as a concept, like, the idea of, this faction being around was a known quantity, but the idea that they, that they are Under, and that they are, like, that they have a name, that they have a mission statements, like, that makes it feel like this might also be the first time that the Union has to compete over quests. Like, especially because Under now has a whole bunch of different artifacts. Like, they might have, Apocalypse #2 or something that allows them to see these quests and then, like, create their own teams that'll go after them. Oh, Zaku, you weren't there. I've said many, many times in that reaction that, of course, the pun is that they are the. Ah, yes. Finally, someone who can appreciate this joke is here to appreciate the joke. So, neutralization of Uma Spring, reward, location of artifact Aegis. Neutralization, oh, okay, so it's the 4 seasons. So, neutralization of Uma Summer, reward, location of Negator Unchange. Capture of Uma Autumn, reward, addition of Uma Ghost, and neutralization of Uma Winter, reward, location of artifact Remember. So, okay, deadline December 31st, so really building up as, like, it is the end of the year. It means that if we do a big New Year... I imagine the mangaka is definitely going to try and time these arcs so that, like, something big happens actually at the end of the year in real life as well. But yeah, okay. Yeah, they only want Autumn to be captured, so yeah. Also, I wonder if the mangaka does believe the Japanese flavor aid of Japan being the only country in the world to have 4 seasons, even though other countries have more than 4. Other countries have exactly 4 seasons. Some of them do. B, Japan has 5 seasons. I will never let go of this. Japan has 5 seasons. But okay, now talking about the manga, more so than just the seasons. Like, the artifact Aegis is immediately stepping out. Like, the Aegis, of course, is the, the unbeatable armor, the armor that is absolutely perfect. That feels like, even if it's not actually perfect, it's something that I think you'd want. That seems extremely good. Location of Unchange is not super great. I mean, depending on whether Unchange is with, like, if they're part of Under, that could be useful as a way to just find Under. But the Union itself doesn't really need more people, so I don't think that'd be that useful. Huh. I mean, thematically, sure. But I mean, in terms of, like, I think it'd be very traumatizing if they either, fought someone who had Unchange, or if they alternatively, like, offered someone with the power of Unchange the ability to get into the Union by killing someone from the Union. Wait a minute. Capture of Uma Autumn. Reward, addition of Uma Ghosts. Does does that count towards the countdown timer? Because if so, that'd be bad. But alternatively, like, it's really strange that that is a reward. I mean, I don't want Undead Unluck to transform itself into a yokai series. That seems pretty terrible. But at the same time, like, I can appreciate the tactical power of having the ghosts of other people around. That said, that's also something that Andy would definitely hate, because like that means that if there is a way to negate undead and then kill Andy for good, he could just still be around as a ghost. Artifact Remember, I imagine, is, I mean, that feels more conceptual. That feels like more of a, either it brings your memories to life, it allows you to display your memories, or maybe it allows you to track things that you remember or something. Like, it has a very, like, it has a useful feel to it, but at the same time, it doesn't immediately jump out to me as being like extremely good. Whereas like Aegis feels unbelievably good. So I guess my current rankings would be 100%. I mean, first of all, you gotta do all of them. Like there's no upside here. You gotta do all of them, otherwise the world is annihilated. Like you can't get a penalty. But like if they like, I would definitely 100% prioritize the Aegis over anything else. Or I would personally want the Aegis the most, I guess. If all quests are not fulfilled by the deadline, the penalty will be the addition of Uma Revolution. Ah, now, if you have been listening to, or if you've been watching this for, if you've been watching my reactions specifically, faithfully, then you will know that I once specifically stated that I did not think this world had the concept of the Earth revolving around the sun. And I would like to then immediately state that I was correct. Every time we've seen the moon before, it has been a full moon. Additionally, I remember something else that specifically came up where, I think it was it Unchange? It may have been Unchange, where we were talking specifically about locking something in place, and no, I think we were thinking about the person whose name I don't remember, our new addition to the Union, and specifically, like, how does his ability work if he locks someone in place? Like, do they, like, does the entire world then move around them? Was that it? Was it Chikara? Now, this does take some of the wind out of my sails, because I don't fully remember the context in which I said the world almost certainly does not revolve around the sun. And likewise, yeah. Now, I wonder also, is this a pun? Like, clearly this is referring to Copernican revolution, but would Uma revolution also have the power of, like, societal revolution? Like, is it a catch-all, or does the rule specifically only apply to the... I mean, with a series that focuses so much on words, I want to think that maybe we'll have something involving, multiple meanings of revolution. But at the same time, I think it would make more functional sense if each Uma, applies to a specific thing and you can't, like, bend it too much. Because otherwise, like, certain Uma would feel really weird. Like, they are each the embodiment of a rule. Now, homie, I would definitely assume that there aren't any other planets apart from Earth. Like, this is... everything that has existed is, like, everything that is not Earth, and even arguably Earth, like, they're all the result of rules being added. Like, the galaxy did not exist before Uma Galaxy. In the same way, like, I guess there is no reason why other planets would need to exist apart from the aliens. The aliens did exist, but they weren't, like, from the solar system. Also, I mean, depending on how you conceptualize what burning is, I guess it is possible they could kill Uma Burn before the Earth plunges into the sun, and then they'd be fine, right? Ooh, we must unite our non-round table members to complete these quests. Oh, I'm so excited to see all the people that, are not part of the round table they know, because A, that means that people can die. B, this, opens us up to a bunch of world building as to, different allies they've made over the years, and, like, various quests that they've completed that we just, that we don't really talk about. True. Zaku, you're right. I was thinking that, if the sun is still the sun, but it can't burn you, then it's fine. But I kind of forgot that at the very core of the sun, like the sheer gravity of all that mass does create a core that is extremely hot and also very solid. Also, that, like the sun might displace air, the sun might do a lot of other things. Like, you'd probably have to kill a lot of Uma before you get to the point where the sun is okay to live in. Now, you raise a good point. I guess we have to assume that is a good question. I mean, there is day and night, so the Earth is rotating. Like, it is rotating by itself, it's just not rotating around the sun. So, like, all you really need in order to have seasons is for the Earth to rotate and for the Earth to, like, rotate in a lopsided way. That is why we have the seasons. And, like, why the seasons are so consistent. The Earth does not have to physically move around the sun in order for the seasons to exist. Also, to be fair, these are each Uma. Like, that does imply that, like, even if, like, the sun doesn't necessarily have to be the reason why the seasons exist in this universe. It's very possible that, when the Uma are created, they also alter the world in such a way that, at a certain point in the year, the season then occurs. Like, when the Uma slash, the rules are added, the reality is rewritten so that the thing that Uma is, is now there and it's always been there. So, like, that does mean that, how do I put this? To me, that does mean that, anything that would require something else that exists in our world but does not exist in their world can happen. It just no longer requires the thing that it requires in our worlds. Okay, yeah, Zaku. Yeah, I can't argue with that one. You are right. I was definitely saying that. But yeah, so I will stick with I was wrong about how the seasons really work, but I will maintain my current explanation of how I think the seasons work in the world of Undead Unluck. Like, in the same way, I do think that, like, if you were to remove things like Uma Oxygen or Uma, like, Death, like, if you were to remove a lot of things that are related to being set on fire, but you did not remove Uma Burn, like, the concept of burning would still exist. It is just, like, over time, like, as you remove more and more Uma that are connected to what we consider burning, what burning is would fundamentally change more and more. Also, it is fundamentally really interesting that, like, autumn and ghosts do go together very well. Like, in the previous set of quests, the thing that they did was sometimes connected to the reward, sometimes not. And I think the closest correlation is autumn and ghosts, especially because that does mean that if they complete all of these, the world will be eternally in autumn, and also, like, ghosts will exist. That really feels like that would be setting up the end of the series / definitely a more yokai-ish twist into the worlds. Also, is Uma Autumn picking up people, or what is happening here? Are those people? I honestly can't tell. Or no, those are its legs, and it's picking up books. Also, homie, per my official designation of what a yokai series is, and I am fully aware, I am bastardizing the term yokai as intended by, by the Japanese people. Yeah, those are either people with books for heads, or yeah, that has to be where each of the legs, ends. That has to be it, like, grasping them. But anyways, my conception of what makes a series a yokai series does not necessarily mean yokai. I mean, a big part of it is definitely if there's a fox demon, it's definitely a yokai series. But I would also open up that definition for, like, Western monsters as well. Like, I would say Rosario to Vampire is a yokai series, or, very yokai influenced, even though a lot of the monsters in that series are, like, the old hammer monsters, but sexy. I mean, Naruto is, I wouldn't say Naruto's a yokai series, but it's got those yokai elements to it. The book said these quests hold 100 penance. Yeah, right. 3 out of 4 need to be neutralized. If we can kill them, we're good. So, why don't we just drop a few nukes on them? Now, I mean, this is for the fate of the worlds. That isn't necessarily a bad idea. Like, up to this point, I would have assumed that dropping nukes on them wouldn't count because it is outside interference. But since this is open to everyone, theoretically, it should be fine. Like, my thought process wasn't, like, even if a member of the Union flew the plane and then pressed the button that drops the nuke, I still would. I kind of just imagined that there'd be some sort of restriction on that. But, like, if there was one, definitely erased as a result of, everyone being allowed to participate. I mean, it also depends on what exactly the powers of each of these UMA are. Like, I can definitely see explanations for each of them that allow them to negate the power of a nuke. Whether it is, like, just stopping the fission from happening, or, like, being, like, Uma Summer could be hotter than the force of a nuclear bomb. Like, there's a lot of explanations you could use. So, is the Union gonna go for this? So he's doing the classic, weighing lives or trading lives thing. Like, could we sacrifice a couple million people in order to save the fate of, in order to save all of humanity? And it does have a very callous edge to it. Like, at the same time, I could see him later saying that, oh, what I really meant was, why don't we lure them away to the abandoned warehouse district and then nuke that? So I guess, it really feels like our main duo is going to pair up with Billy this time. I'm saying that you can't do it. Go ahead, repeat it 1,000, hell, 10,000 times over, but you can't do it. None of you can. None of you can kill God. What? Okay? Hmm? I mean, is he doing this as a, as, like, in the same way that... Is he doing it to test them? Or is this an actual betrayal? Are we saying that Billy's been a traitor this whole time? Oh, jeez. Yeah, because if Ishin's down, then that also means that... I mean... Yeah, that kind of really screws them over if they don't have unbreakable weapons anymore. I mean, also, he's their friends. I mean, Andy did this on his first day, but also, like, they didn't negotiate it with him at that point. Like, they were all enemies. Whereas, like, I mean, you could argue they're not friends, but at the very least, they've been around. I mean, Billy's definitely Tatiana's friend, if nothing else. Or, I mean, Tatiana definitely sees him as a friend. Oh, snap! God, first of all, love this layering. Love the implication, then, that Top is so fast that the sound of him, like he snaps Billy's neck before, like, the sound of Andy saying, Top, don't do it, could come out. Boy, I really need to read those volume extras, then. Oh, yeah, Top does have the big Hitsugaya energy. I mean, he's too innocent, though. Like, he visually looks a lot like Hitsugaya, but his characterization and the way he moves and all that, like, it feels so much more fitting, honestly, to the character design. Like, Hitsugaya's thing is obviously the contrast of him being very cold and serious and mature, but he's so tiny. Whereas Top has the, like, he fits his design way more. Oh no, don't you dare say that he is the Aizen. I swear, if Billy takes off his glasses and changes his hairstyle, I'm going to lose my mind. Devoid of light, forced to bear the weight of negating, forced to fight. Why must we concern ourselves with the lives of the incompetent masses? Their lives should be sacrificed as well, and that's just what we plan to do. Otherwise, it would be rather unfair, don't you agree? Oh no! Oh no! I'll be taking the round table. It's the property of Under now. Oh no, he changed his hairstyle! He took off his glasses! Oh no! I cannot believe this! I cannot believe this twist! Also, taking the round table and, Apocalypse, boy. Oh! Also, his neck did snap, which makes me wonder, like, was this an illusion? Or does he have an ability that allows him to, to revert from having his neck snapped? I mean, the way he said unfair makes me feel like he could be unfair. Like, unbelievable works, but it feels a little too, roundabout for this. Whereas him literally saying unfair makes me feel like that works really well. Because this entire thing also feels profoundly unfair. Oh, it looks like his leg is broken. Huh. Oh, you're right. Yeah, like, I also commend the mangaka for having the neck snap be very, very, like, I mean, it's not like it's, like, unrealistic, but it's extremely exaggerated, which then carries over to the extremely exaggerated, like, broken leg. Like, of course, I missed it because I have the bad eyes and the bad brain, but, like, it is, like, now that I have been made aware of it, it is extremely obvious. I mean, I could see unfair and unjust working as a strong, like, as a strong leader thing. I could see it working specifically as a, like, what is the difference between justice and fairness? In most series, I think that would work out very badly, but Undead Unluck has been good enough with the way it treats negators that I think it could be interesting. That said, thank you for bringing it up, Pep. I'm then going to assume that, like, either unjust might just, or, unfair might just be, a thing they say, but it could also be the name of their leader. Like, their leader could have unfair. Huh, really? That's a real good take. That, Unseen was probably given to Under. I mean, the cut we had at that time made it feel like, as they were being given the quest, Under had already captured Unseen. But it's possible that they were given the mission, and then Billy leaked the information, and then, Under swooped in. I mean, for me personally, there's very little that a series could do to put it in its, like, there's little more that a series could do right now to put itself in my good graces than feel a little like Bleach. Like, Chainsaw Man has strong Bleach energy. Undead Unluck also has strong Bleach energy. I'm starting to realize I don't know if I like manga. I might just like Bleach. Random. I think it's extremely unfair of you to say that that Burn the Witch has Bleach energy. Who would ever think that? Certainly not me. Go back to the start of the chapter. Oh boy. Ah, open to everyone, so here it is. Yeah, and interesting. Oh, this entire chapter reads so differently now. Because if this was not the twist, this would also have felt so strange for Billy to say, open to everyone, so here it is, and then to not like it when Juiz brings up the possibility of, bringing in all of their allies. But now it makes so much sense. Plus, like, his statement of why don't we just drop a few nukes on them, that feels way more Under than it does the Union, even though the Union is not good per se. Like, they're not the good guys, quote unquote. Like, they do some messed up stuff, but at the same time, they have they have more of a code when it comes to, just murdering innocent people. Huh. You raise a very good point. That, yeah, he hit Ishin through unbreakable armor, which also makes sense. Like, Ishin didn't really dodge the the bullets. He was leaning over to protect, who is that? Is that Top over there? Do we have a shot of the table right there? Like, before things started popping off? Because it does make a lot of sense character-wise that Ishin wouldn't try to dodge, because why would he? He has unbreakable armor. It would make much more sense for him to try and deflect bullets that are, that are about to hit someone else. And yeah, that would make sense if he was trying to specifically spare Tatiana, because Tatiana is so enormous. If he wanted to hit her, there's no reason why he couldn't have. Especially because it doesn't seem like she was trying to use her powers or anything. And the long cake is such a, in the same way that, we had a little bit of time to soften up to Aizen before we saw that, he had died, and, that before things started really popping off. There's just enough Aizen for me personally as a child at the time to, to care for him. Not, deeply, but enough that I didn't like that he was dead, and that I was hurt when it turned out that he was alive and evil. In the same way, like, I care just enough about Billy for this to hurt. Like, it hurts because because of him being a part of the Union, because I like the whole Union, but now I specifically feel for Tatiana. I mean, it's also just a very efficient way to take the build-up we had for Tatiana, and the amount of good grace we then had for Billy as a result of Tatiana's backstory, and then, swerve that into his... It's so perfect, it's so masterful. I mean, he might try to kill Tatiana. Alternatively, we may have a scene much later on where the entire Union is fighting him, and he's fighting them all back, and then it turns out that, oh no, they weren't fighting Billy all along. It was actually Tatiana. Man, Undead Unluck is so good. Oh boy. Can we discern anything from these two shapes up here? Not really. Not really. Are they the kid and Chikara? But yeah, and I do think like part of his big nuke statement was also like it won't work per se, but I do think part of it was to demoralize them, to make them wonder like should we take back the round table or would it be better if we just let Under do their thing? Like they will stop the next penalty from happening. But yeah, I'll add a content warning. I'll make sure to put it in before I even like right here in the text thing that I use for my notes. Like Chikara isn't over here, but I don't know if that's him. I mean, it's so low res that I could not possibly tell. And if one of you guys tells, if one of you have an idea of who it is, I'm still probably not going to inherently trust it because of how low res it looks. So I'll leave it at like I kind of assumed those two are piloting, the big magma Uma perhaps, but that could also be two Uma people. Oh no, I refuse to believe that Chikara is a traitor. It's too insane. The kid now, maybe. Like, we have seen Billy and the kid. Oh, first of all, Billy and the kid, or Billy the kid. But secondarily, like, we've seen the two of them near each other quite a bit. So I could definitely see the two of them being traitors together. Okay, now, I don't have anything else to say. I feel like this has been a pretty good Undead Unluck talk. Extremely good series. I probably would have blathered on a lot more about Revolution if the rest of the chapter had not been extremely powerful. So let's not fill time. I think it's fair if we just move on. So next is... Oh yeah, rating. I mean, is this better than Burn the Witch Chapter 4? Yes. It's not that hard of a decision. Burn the Witch, very good. I mean, it still deserves to currently be second highest, but there's no questioning it. This chapter is fantastic. And here I thought things were cooling down. Like here I thought, especially because we saw what last chapter was. Like last chapter was a more emotional chapter. It was more of a, like we're bringing Chikara into the fold chapter. I really thought this was going to be more about just the quests. And then, I mean, yeah, that's also the previous quest chapter also built up that expectation of this is just a chapter about the quests and like divvying them up. Absolutely was not expecting anything apart from just focusing on the quests to happen, because the quests are inherently extremely cool. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that the last quest reveal was chill, but I did genuinely think that it was going to be more of a chapter where they divvy up responsibilities. Where it was going to be a, like, we can't fail this time, so let's cool down, let's figure out what's going on, let's, assign people to this, and, even let's have a very big, bold strategy that then will fall apart because Under is going to attack us. Anyways, that's Undead Unluck. I've said it multiple times. Let's just click the button. Next is Chainsaw Man, Chapter 84. Hero of Hell. Boy, I mean, I really, really love the intestines in the shot. Like, the way that they are breaking up the page feels... I mean, it honestly feels better than a lot of Kubo's moves. Like, if Kubo were drawing this, it would have been a completely black scarf, maybe just, like, soaked in blood or something, and then it would be wrapping around Chainsaw Man, but I don't think even he would go for this specific aesthetic of, making it look like lines crossing him with, like, texture on them. If there's one thing I do have to commend Fujimoto on, it is, texture, and knowing when to give things texture and when to, like, also add screen tones to something in addition to also drawing textures on them. I have zero idea how this is going to play out. Like, genuinely. Clearly, this isn't Kishibe, right? Or is it? I mean, either way. Like Hell Devil is coming back. So in that case, I 100% do not know whether, like, Denji is going to win or whether Denji's going to hell. Because I could also see, like, I think it might be best for him, honestly, if he ends up in hell and then he can't go back and then he just spends a lot of time killing demons in hell, or devils in hell. No, I have not, Zaku. No, I have not. Now, this does beg the question of, why did they summon it originally? I mean, I guess, yeah, like, if they could have Hell Devil do this at any point, why bother showing up and, trying to intimidate the chainsaw? Why not just do the big ol' slappy splats? I mean, I am very glad that, you know, we didn't get this shot and then a shot of Denji, like, chainsawing through the fingers. I like the idea that for now, like, Hell Devil is not, like, all powerful or anything, but you can't really block Hell Devil from sending you to hell. Okay, let me click this. Denji Toho looks like his namesake, Kudo Denji, from Abara by Tsutomu Nihei. Huh, okay. Like, strong aesthetic, and also, like, it isn't one-to-one, but it is extremely clear. Ah, it's so cool. Now, I've never heard anything about Abara. Like, if any of you have read it, and also if it has scans and stuff, do let me know. I'm probably not going to do it on the channel or anything. Like, I'm still doing a lot of cleanup in terms of, getting to things, but I'll think about it. Ooh, I might follow this person too, actually. I stay off of Twitter when, before chapters come out, so it should be fine. Okay. For my contract with the Prime Minister, attacks made on me will be changed into appropriate illnesses and accidents among Japanese citizens. So, depending on how you read that, it is possible. It's possible that when we initially saw her, like, the aftermath of the train, where, like, everyone who tried to attack her had big holes blown in them. Like, that could have been her physically attacking them. That could have been her using some sort of contract to have another devil attack them. Or, like, if those were all Japanese citizens, which I believe they were, I don't remember seeing anyone with a clear foreigner design, quote unquote. It's possible that through her contract, she could have just transferred all the damage into them in the form of these big blows. Like in the form of accidents. I could definitely imagine a reverse Mr. Magoo situation. I'm sure there's a name for that, where everyone shoots her and then none of the bullets hit her, and then they all stumble around and like impale themselves on the armrests on the on the various seats around her. Ooh, they do have Abara. Okay, cool. Ah, love train. Oh, that works so well. I love it. Thus, I believe he will return no matter what. Oh, I mean, this is so scary. This is like, the absolute reversal of the shonen, I am a weak, helpless girl, but I believe in the hero. I know he'll save me. Like, she is so much, like, she has so much power by herself, but at the same time, she has this absolute faith in Denji's power. That, and also, like, last chapter, she called him Chainsaw Man, so now he is, like, a hero, quote unquote. It does have a lot of Fire Punch energy. It has that, like, not meta energy, but talking about another fictional medium, or treating a character more like a character from a fictional medium. Hero of Hell, Chainsaw Man. I also wonder now, like, while he's here, we know that if you're a devil and you die in hell, you appear on Earth. I wonder if this will actually lead to a massive uptick in the number of devil incidents. Like, we know that, most of Makima's posse, before they died, the last thing they heard in hell was the sound of a chainsaw. As a result, it's possible that the rest of the world might be, like, relatively peaceful right now because, like, devils are being killed, they go to hell, and then nothing's really pulling them out, except for, normal devil versus devil squabbles. Also, we know that when a devil dies in hell, they go to Earth and they lose most of their memories, except for, like, the tiny vague things, which can include, the sound of the chainsaw. We don't know if that is the same if a devil dies on Earth and goes to hell. So it's possible we could see some old faces. Like, we could see Eternity or something in here, but, difference. Like, we do know they change every time. Yeah, you're right, it does have that chapter 1 energy, but it's so much more elaborate. Like, Fujimoto, he's definitely gotten better at this specific aesthetic. Like, I do still think chapter 1 looks fine, but he's definitely refined the way in which he wants to draw Chainsaw Man specifically. Cry for help and he will come. The devil's targeted by Chainsaw, and the devils who call for help are caught up and killed too. Because of what he does, he is marked and killed by many devils, but he revs his engine and arises again and again. Oh, and using the intestines to also border all of the panels. Well, not all of the panels. Like, it is a combination of... It's a combination of using the intestines and also using the cuts that he's making in order to border... Like, this is one panel, but it also acts like 3 panels. One, 2 involving the devil that's been cut in half, and then a quote-unquote middle panel in the middle that is, these other devils. Oh my gosh. The direction in this page is unbelievable. I I genuinely hope from the bottom of my heart that if Chainsaw Man gets an anime, that it isn't like I hope it's something that does it justice in terms of art direction. It doesn't even need to be, super smooth animation. I'd be completely fine if the animation is a little stilted, but the direction is as good as the manga. Like, I would prefer that so much more over a situation where the animation is very stylish and, or like, very fluid and very well done, but it's also like drawn like a very traditional series without like carrying over a lot of the stuff that the manga does. Ah, Masaki Yuasa is honestly very good. Like that, he'd be a great pull. I would also, and I know most people would hate this, I wouldn't be against Trigger picking it up and giving it the Ninja Slayer treatment in which everyone is a cardboard cutout. It would definitely not be what people want Chainsaw Man the anime to be. But I could see them doing some really cool things with that. Like Ninja Slayer does a lot of interesting things with perspective and whatnot when it is not being zero budgets. Shaft would also be very good. Like Chainsaw Man has a lot. Also, Fire Punch. Like they both have a lot of Shaft energy in how the conversations move. Where like you'll have 16 panels that are just a face, or where people is kind of like will kind of just cut around to people talking, and the conversation gets a lot of time to breathe without it being very plot relevant all the time. Like the whole thing with Makima and Denji going to the theater, where it had a lot of emotional impact, and it did hint at some things about Makima, but at the same time, a lot of it was just, hanging out and watching movies. I mean, I am really enjoying the Fire Force anime, so I could see, the Shaft contingent that is now part of David Pro doing something really cool with Chainsaw Man. Also, I mean, there's that guy who has done, I think it's two people actually, who have done different Chainsaw Man Hell animations in 3D. Like I would not be against a very very well rendered 3D Chainsaw Man. I if they announce a 3D Chainsaw Man, I'm going to immediately be upset because I don't think Japanese animation can do it justice. Like even Land of the Lustrous and Beastars have weird like lag problems that I have a problem with, and those are extremely good CG anime. But until we get to the point of, those 1 to 2 minute clips of Chainsaw Man, and like seeing the Darkness Devils intro, like until we can get to that level of CG animation within, you know, a system that has to put out like episodes, I would not want that to happen. I only saw episode 1 of Dorohedoro's anime, and it it didn't impress me that much. Like it was fine, and I do think like the ED, for instance, like that has some strong Dorohedoro energy to it, but it didn't really wow me. But yeah, I guess I would say if it's 3D, I'd want Mappa to do it. If it's 2D, I'll settle on. As much as I really like the idea of the trolley trigger adaptation, I mean, Orange is good. Now that I think about it, like I did enjoy every episode of the Beastars anime. Sure, sure, sure. For 3D, I don't think I can trust a Japanese studio with doing 3D animation. That's really it. Like even Orange, as much as I really like their direction, I don't think I would enjoy Chainsaw Man with the like frame rates situation that Beastars had. Like it wasn't unwatchable. It wasn't it wasn't Rooster Teeth 3D, but it was rough. So yeah, I guess I don't want it to be 3D, and if it is 2D, I guess I would want Shaft to do it. Like, I would want the Shaft of ye olde days to do it. I would want the team that did Kizu Monogatari to do Chainsaw Man. They can animate blood. Okay, and there's another reason he is the devil the devils fear most. The devils that Chainsaw Man eats, their names are erased from existence. Hmm. Okay, Chainsaw Man just did a hard turn into Undead Unluck territory. Like, let me read this page. I don't want to talk too much about this because I could be misreading what the implication of that is. You can't perceive it, that's only natural. You see, names that have been eaten are apparently erased from the past, the present, and even from individuals' memories. Even with my power to take control over everything, I'm beginning to forget the names that are gone. Do you remember what the Nazis did to the Jews? Oh boy! Oh boy! Nazis, World War II, Arnold syndrome, SOA, AIDS, nuclear weapons, the Mount Hio eruption. All of these once existed and were feared every bit as much as the devils with their names. But I'm the only one who remembers those names now. Hot damn! Hot damn! See, this is also something where a lesser series would have made this much edgier. But this is an extremely, how can you not say that? I mean, the Chainsaw Devil is arguably not heroic, but it did eat the Holocaust. Oh, I actually don't know what Arnold syndrome is. To be fair, like, this might also be a fictional syndrome that, that doesn't exist in our world either. I don't think any of these are what they're talking about. Also, it is specifically the devils that Chainsaw Man eats. Their names are erased from existence. So it isn't just, like, we've seen a bunch of devils being chainsawed, but that is not, that isn't this. Which is also why this hasn't come up yet. The sixth sense that all humans used to have. Wait, hold up, Makima. The light of a particular star that would break children's minds. 4 possible conclusions other than death at the end of living beings' lifespans. Ha 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 ha. The light of a particular star actually that's gotta be an It reference, right? That has to be the Deadlights. I mean, the Deadlights are not a star per se, but that feels like a very specific reference. It might be a reference to something I don't actually know. 4 possible conclusions other than death at the end of living beings' lifespans is such an insane... That actually brings up a good question. No one has ever said in universe that the names that Makima assigned to her fiends and devils are, like, a reference to angels. Now, I mean, manga in general will just kind of do that. Like, they'll just have a thing that the series is doing that is never mentioned. But it's completely possible that the concept of heaven no longer exists because Chainsaw Man ate it. And as a result, like, the concept of angels also doesn't exist, but before that happens, Makima was capable of holding on to the information of angels just long enough to assign them all names as a way to remember them. You can look at that thing in your DMs now. Zaku, now, are you sure you want this? You will show the world our DMs. Now, there's a lot of Bleach content in these DMs. Okay, this is what I assume you're talking about. I love it! This is perfect! I love it! Oh, man. I keep on forgetting that I'm recording this to be put on YouTube, because I'm definitely just kind of like laughing and getting real sweaty and then moving off camera where no one can see me. I should really center myself more. Bleach is the constants. There are bad manga, and then there is Bleach. It is very possible that I've been calling them yokai series out of frustration, but it is possible that people have just read the early part of Bleach where Ichigo fights Hollows, and in fact, the series that I keep on calling yokai series are Hollow series that are trying to adapt to the wrong part of Bleach. Also, and this is something that'll only be interesting for the YouTube crowd, I am wearing a shirt that is supposed to break cameras. And I'm pretty sure that I got ripped off, because I've been wearing it for a while and it hasn't affected my webcam at all. That said, the part that is supposed to break the webcam is mostly not on camera, but even if I put it on camera specifically, it's not shining in the way it's supposed to. It's a big shame. I should have tried this a lot earlier. I still have a entire raincoat that is made of the material that I know for a fact messes up webcams. And it also has Demon King Piccolo's insignia on it, so at some point I might wear that when I want to make a video that I'll put up and it'll be completely unwatchable, and also it might damage my computer. Yeah, the scale of this is so big I can't wrap my head around it. Oh my gosh, are the Makima simps correct? Are we, like, I have said up to this point, 100% she is the worst being in the universe. Like, she is the ultimate villain. There's no way you could mistake her for being anything other than a villain. But, like, if we're working on this, like, on a conceptual level like this, it is completely possible that she then believes that, yes, having control over, the chainsaw and having the ability to have him eat, all the worst concepts in the world would make the world a better place. Like, it is functionally very similar to Undead Unluck. I don't want to spoil Undead Unluck, but it has a similar concept of, being able to create or remove entire concepts from reality. So I could definitely see her justifying it by saying, like, what if we just ate all the worst things? Like, what if Denji ate all the worst things in existence? What if we were only left with, base things that aren't that, because devils don't have a system in which, inherently, because you eat away nukes and war and, guns, like, just because you erase all of those things does not mean that, like, Tomato Devil is going to be super powerful. Because, like, it is connected inherently to the things that humans fear, not even devils that humans fear, specifically things. So if you just ate away all the things that people truly fear and you leave everything else, devils just become hilariously weak. I have the power to control those I believe to be lesser than myself. If I fight Chainsaw Man and win, I should be able to control him. I want to use Chainsaw Man to create a better world. That also completely changes the way I've seen their relationship. Like, the fact that she cannot compel, like, the fact that she can't compel Denji, even though she wants to, like, that means that all the dog stuff she's been doing this whole time has been not for Denji. I mean, partially for Denji, sure, but it's also been for her sake. Like, she has been simultaneously making Denji believe that he is lesser to her, which then, factually, in some way makes him lesser to her. Like, at the very least, it makes them hierarchically, distinct. Like, they are, master and pets. But then on top of that, I think it's very possible that she has been doing this in order to hype herself up so that she can eventually believe that she, the control devil, is above the chainsaw, the devil that all devils, including her, like, necessarily, if we say all devils, that has to include her. She has to fear the chainsaw as well. I don't know if she would. Like, because she is control itself, I imagine that she would want, like, she wouldn't delegate this. I could definitely see a different character, like, coming up with some sort of democratic way in order to get everyone to determine which are the worst possible things. But I imagine, like, Makima might just haphazardly destroy all of them. Take, for example, death, war, hunger. There are many things in this world that humanity would be happier without. With Chainsaw Man's power, I'll blot them all out. Huh. And she is willing to have herself be eaten. I mean, that would be the most altruistic thing if control itself was removed. Like, control is, like, this completely throws what the president of America said as well, like, into a different light. In that Makima is, the enemy of all humanity. In the same way, control is the enemy of all humanity. If Makima allowed herself to be consumed, she would liberate humanity. Like, in the clearest way, that is literally the liberation of humanity if control no longer exists as a concept. Horny people plus anti-fascists equals Denji should eat Makima. That feel when you are such a simp that you mind break and control the object of your lust. I mean, that I guess that's just a yandere simp, isn't it? I was saying that as if that was a completely new genre convention, but no, I can't name any characters right now, but trust me, I have definitely seen characters in existence that, that have been the, I want to serve under you, I, want to be your slave, and if you're not, if I can't be your slave, then I'll kill you. To be eaten by Chainsaw Man, become part of him, there could be no greater honor. Oh, he chainsawed his way out of hell! Oh, that's so doom! Please, by the way, tell me, if is there already a Doom Eternal mod that mods you into hell as depicted in Chainsaw Man? If there is not one, please, if there is one at some point, let me know about it. Please link me to it. I would adore it. I want Chainsaw Man in my life. I want to be eaten by Chainsaw Man. I want to become Chainsaw Man. Oh no, Bethesda, what you doing? Ah, it's a shame. True. I mean, this also delves into like other conversations we have had within the world of Undead Unluck, which is like, if you're operating on this level, like on a conceptual level to this extent, to the extent in which you can just erase entire concepts from reality. Like once you hit that point, what does that mean? We would, I do get your point of, removing control also means removing self-control, removes being able to control machines and stuff. But at the same time, like once you have the power to erase things like that, like you could, it's very possible that you could, create a world in which control is no longer necessary. Like at that point, like it wouldn't really be what we consider humanity or what we consider reality. Like it would involve, removing a lot of, like things like death or hunger or, like assaults, like lots of bad things. Like once you remove most bad things, that if the only things you can do are inherently good things, then you don't really need control anymore. Like you don't really need self-control because at that point, like if you lose all control of yourself, you are still fundamentally only positive. There is no possibility of you doing something negative. I do realize, as I've said that, I'm sure there's a way that you could argue that no, that's actually extremely dystopian, but I am imagining more of a instrumentality situation. Once you remove, the things that bind us together as individuals, our AT fields, if you will, then we would cease to be what we consider humanity right now. But it could also be pretty good. Hmm. I would legitimately, uh, I would nuts if if they if Uma Ghost was added to Undead Unluck and then they killed Uma Ghost, or alternatively, if Chainsaw Man kills the Ghost Devil and or eats the Ghost Devil, and in that moment every yokai series in Jump gets canceled. That would be such an insane move. It would be profoundly unfair. Like as much as I don't like a lot of the series that have been added, at the same time, I do think it is fundamentally extremely cruel to cancel someone's series because some other creator had a really funny idea. But as an idea, I think it's pretty dope. Oh, you're right. I mean, if if Shueisha were to fold, I would like the final chapter of Chainsaw Man to be Chainsaw Man eating the manga devil and thus erasing the concept of manga. You know, I wouldn't say this for like most things, but I imagine like from what I've heard about working at Shueisha, like working at Shueisha specifically might suck so hard that there could be a Shueisha devil. In which case, then she could just destroy the concept of Shueisha. It is also interesting that like we've now established twice. The first time, it was whatever. It may have been a weird exception or something. This has been the second time where we have directly stated that the leader of a country has control over like everyone within that country. Like they are capable of making a contract that affects all the people underneath them or all the other people of their country, which I think is an extremely interesting concept. I would assume it has to be void, or even then, like if the prime minister ceases to be the prime minister, if another prime minister is voted in, I think that that has to also void the contracts. Because it does seem like Chainsaw Man is like really establishing this concept of not contracts but hierarchies. Like there are contracts, you can make contracts with devils, but I think like a big part of it is the hierarchy of you like believing yourself to be better than some other person, or that person actually being under you. It does seem like that is an actual quantity in the universe of Chainsaw Man. I mean, how can this not be number one? That's right. If you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you know the classic move of, oh my gosh, Undead Unluck is the best thing in Jump. It goes to the top, and then one chapter later, oh my gosh, Chainsaw Man is the best thing in Jump. It goes to the top. It's a classic. The Chainsaw Devil climbs its way to the top. I mean, if it eats eternity, we got a time limit now. If we, if we draw a parallel between the like if the devils have to be real things, then that does mean that eternity exists as a concept. I mean, like infinity has to mathematically exist, but eternity is not infinity. I feel like there is a distinct difference in that infinity is, like literally, like infinity applies to all things that are unlimited, that move on forever. Eternity, to me, and this might just be a me thing. I thought the etymology of eternity specified time. Where is the etymology? No. It is just from eternus, without beginning or ends. So it is something that always has been, always will be. So never mind. I guess that is. It's basically, it's kind of the same as infinites or infinity. But yeah, I guess if he did that, that would then mean that all things would have a beginning and ends. And also, I am assuming that like this works under the rules of like if Denji were to have eaten power, like if Chainsaw Man were to have eaten the Blood Devil, I don't think that all the blood would disappear from everything and then everything would die. I do think like it would rewrite reality so that nothing has blood anymore. Like blood is not a thing that exists. But everything that currently is alive that has blood would just be rewritten to a version that does not require blood. I don't believe so, homie. Denji was drinking its blood. Specifically, Denji was drinking the blood of Eternity Devil, and then Eternity Devil committed suicide by destroying its own hearts. That is a very specific difference, and thank you for bringing it up, because I didn't really consider it until right now. But yeah, that does mean that eating a devil doesn't mean eating the entire devil. Because the blood of a devil is presumably a part of the devil. So it can't work under devil fruit rules of if you eat any part of the devil, or if Chainsaw Man eats any part of the devil, that concept ceases to exist. I think it has to be like killing and eating. In which case, Eternity committing suicide would then render that void. Actually, Pep, good points. Like, hearts have also been an extremely important part of Chainsaw Man. When we see... Yeah, the devils that Chainsaw Man eats. Like, we are seeing an arm and not, like, the heart specifically. I think right now, the most we can say is it involves some sort of consuming flesh. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I also... I do imagine that most devils... Like, how do I put this? It does seem like Chainsaw Man doesn't eat many devils. Like, he can, but it seems like most of the time he just saws them apart, which is why, they do keep on coming back. But if you're truly scared of Chainsaw Man, I do imagine a lot of devils might just commit suicide when he's around. But yeah, I mean, that also brings up the question, like, for instance, if you believe why do I not remember the other term for rebirth? Not resurrection, reincarnation. Like, if you believe in reincarnation, I don't think that increases your chances of committing suicide. Even though, like, from a very, from a very edgy high schooler point of view, it might make sense that, oh, this life sucks, I'm just gonna kill myself, try again. I do believe that, as it happens, and I do have a lot of family members who do believe in reincarnation. From what I've seen, like, most people who believe in reincarnation don't use that as an out of, it's fine if you die. Like, it is, because it is still fundamentally a different person, and your current life does end. And I imagine the same thing probably goes for a lot of people who believe in afterlives, which Chainsaw Man ate 4 of them, which is concerning in this world. I mean, to be fair, he ate 4 of them. 4 possible conclusions other than death at the end of living beings' lives. Oh wait, no. I just realized. I thought that meant that he was eating afterlives. That's not necessarily the case. It is just, like, your lifespan comes to an end, and then something else happens. Or, actually, I guess never mind. I guess that could include, like, reincarnation. Or, like, going to heaven or something. Like, if we are taking death to mean the cessation of existence, like, full stop, just gone, then it is possible that in this universe, like, there was a time where you die, and then instead of disappearing forever, like, the angels come down and bring you up into heaven. Novo, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say, like, to be fair, I'm not the mangaka, but personally, I assume when when Makima says that, these things cease to exist, I would say that, oh, also Rondom. First of all, Rondom, before I forget, good points. That does mean that, it doesn't mean that heaven doesn't exist. It just means that the concept of going to heaven when you die does not exist. I mean, That said, Random, there is a Hell Devil. Like, Hell Devil, people fear Hell. It's also possible that people go to Hell. Like, we haven't seen that at all. Hell does seem to be a place that only devils go to, but it is possible that people go to Hell. I mean, alternatively, this could be a world in which, like, Hell has always been known to be the place where devils go. And as a result, like, the theology of human beings going to Hell does not exist in this world. I mean, I do think there is some nature to fearing heaven if you think of it as the pearly gates, like you go there and you are judged and then you might not be able to get in, whereas like your family members might be there and then you'll be separated for all of eternity. I can see reasons why people would be afraid of heaven. Like that combined with the fact that, as we know, the more humanoid a devil is, the more pro-humanity it is. I could see a situation in which the Chainsaw Devil had some special malice for the Heaven Devil in particular. Like, I've kind of just envisioned the Chainsaw Devil as being this wild animal that just murders things constantly, but it's possible that it had a personality, and that it did intentionally kill certain things that it didn't like. Incidentally, I'm also really interested in whether... I mean, first of all, people fear the Sixth Sense? Absolutely. People fear psychics now, in the world we live in which I'm fairly sure that psychics don't exist. But I'm also very curious to see, like, how did this happen? Like, did Chainsaw eat Nazis before or after World War II? Because that could be interesting in terms of the timeline, but B, it could also be interesting in terms of like the effects on that devil. Like World War II devil minus the Nazis would still be scary, like still bad war. And arguably, without like if the Nazi party never existed in Germany, like I mean conceptually there's so much you could do here. That also like we don't know the timeline of Chainsaw Man, but it seems to be back in the 80s. It is completely possible that it actually takes place in 2020, but because war pushes forth the development of technology, it's possible that World War II never happening then caused like the progression of technology to slow down because there's a bunch of innovations that didn't happen as a result of World War II. Boy, there is so much here that I can't get over the possibility of Chainsaw Man destroying the deadlights. Like, imagine if it's Chapter 2. I wonder if Fujimoto watched it Chapter 2 and then was very upset with the ending and then thought it would have been so much cooler if instead of a big old deadlight spider, which, to be fair, I've not seen it Chapter 2. I've only read it. I assume we get big deadlight spider at the very end. I can imagine Fujimoto sitting down in the theater or standing straight up, blocking the view of the people behind him, and saying out loud, "If I wrote it, Chainsaw Man would come in and kill this spider right now." Novo, read Chainsaw Man. Anyways, that is Chainsaw Man. We got one more thing to read. As far as I saw on the website, we don't have My Hero this week. If we do have My Hero, please correct me. But let us move on to... Oh wait, no, I didn't. Did I rank did I rank My Hero? Did I rank Chainsaw Man is what I'm trying to say. I really went through everything just now. But no, we are in fact reading Dr. Stone, Z equals 165. Know the rules, make the rules. This is, of course, a reference to Undead Unluck and the rules within that world. We're tying it together. Every Jump series takes place in the same world. Pev, come on. Don't you want to get stoned? We've got Stanley Snyder's rear in our sights. If only... Shinking? Incidentally, Yes, this is...
Is this the mangaka?
This is the mangaka. We were just talking about the mangaka. So, I thought he had a beard. I'm wrong. I'm definitely wrong. This
He
man is
looks
not
so young.
He looks so young. He's got the tiny little young boy bow tie. I was trying to come up with examples of adults that had been broken out of stone, and my example was this man.
Yeah, can anybody name a single adult, like a single old person, to make it clearer? Because you could say like, is this? They don't give ages a lot.
Yeah, but an old person that was broken out of stone specifically, that not Kaseki. Basically, has Tsukasa's hatred of old people been challenged? The ICP looks old, I guess.
The ICP are like in their 20s.
Yeah. We have to, I mean, especially because Tsukasa, like, handpicked all of them, we have to assume that they're all kids. Or, like, young adults.
Kids!
They're all children. Listen, you have been reading the most recent arc. We do learn that the ICP are all 5.
Oh no.
They're just real swole.
Stone has some real powerful healing energy.
Okay, now I banish you. No looky at spoilers. Man, by the way, I've been reading so much Ginro hentai, or not reading it, I've been looking at so much Ginro hentai. It bothers me so much.
You said this last stream.
I mean, yeah, but I've been reading more.
I just think they were leaving the room and hearing you talk about this last time.
It bothers me because I've never understood why people like Uzaki-chan. Because she combines looking bad with being bad and being annoying. But people simp for her real hard. But now I am in the situation in which Ginro is bad, and he looks like a coward, and he is a coward, and he's bad. But I want to simp for him because he's sexy in fan art.
I can also say that I've seen a lot of Ginro fan art and Ginro porn, and I do not find him sexy at all. Absolutely not.
Ginro is the most sexual. Ginro is the example of a male findom in that if he were in our current time, he would definitely have a stream where there is one webcam that looks at his face and another webcam that looks at his feet. And on his feet, he's wearing different socks, and all of the socks have like a number written on them, and you have to donate that amount of money in order for him to take off one of the layers of socks until you eventually get to his bare feet. Ginro is, oh man, Ginro. Anyways, speaking of Ginro, we have, I mean, what? And where would may lurk below? It's like a submarine, perhaps. For that reason, he turned to focus to what lay beneath the aerial battle. However, Matsuzaki could not have foreseen what was coming, due to his lack of knowledge of humanity's 21st century scientific technology. So here it comes. Also, just some general rubble. Interesting that we don't have any, like, people down here. The island arc made, I mean, to be fair, the island also had a bunch of people being intentionally thrown into the waters. So I guess that might be it. It might just be that, America's a big place. The chances of people being around the specific area when the stoning happened are, like, a little high, sure. I mean, they're actually quite high considering that this is the area where we know for a fact people were assembled. But, like, in this specific body of water, it is very possible that, I mean, also, these are probably, like, very tall buildings that have been rubbleized. So any people might just be way below this. Now, are they on here? I mean, I can't assume Dr. X is. There's no way. I see the Americans. These look kind of like spacesuits almost. Like with the very large collars. I mean, they also feel kind of Space Marine-y, sort of. That's a dope design. 1954. For what purpose? I mean, I'm assuming that is a date. But, I mean, it could also just be a number that happens to read like a date to me because it's in the 1900s. I do like this design, though. It has a very, it has an evil energy to it without feeling hilariously evil. Like, it has that Boichi energy to it, but at the same time, I could see Inagaki saying, Boichi, you gotta make sure this can actually be underwater. Like, I will take 1 week off. Boichi, you build an entire submarine. And if you can build it in real life, then you're allowed to draw it. And then Boichi, of course, being a madman, proceeded to build this 1-to-1 in a Japanese lake. And then Inagaki had to agree, okay, I guess we're gonna draw your super evil submarine. You did build the whole thing. It's a Kraken versus the Perseus. And I can't imagine they have any real defenses for this. Okay. Wait, let me check that date real quick. 1954. So it can't be, like, a date reference to the first Nautilus. But yeah, that's really cool. That is so cool. Oh, it was launched in 1954. Okay. Ah, thank you, Novo. Oh boy. Come on, ICP, prove your worth. Hmm. I mean, to be fair, they may. I could definitely see Senku at some point telling them specifically, if people with guns show up, immediately surrender because we don't have the firepower, and it would be a lot easier. Like it'd be better for everyone to survive than to needlessly die. So I could see a situation in which they do take over the Perseus, and then Senku has to save them. Hmm. Now, I do not know if this is sexual or not. I feel like this shot specifically with like the hands grasping out towards the reader, like this definitely has to be someone's thing. Oh, and they're doing it so efficiently. I mean, that takeover took all of 10 seconds. Oh boy. Yeah, I can see it. I can see this being her confirmed for Smash. Like specifically the fact that it's only screen tone around her. Like it feels way more isolated than most Dr. Stone art does. Like it feels like a trading card or something. You could definitely make a magic card using this art. Let me check the word jinking real quick. I kind of just glazed over it because the mangaka said it, and I was like, I don't know if I want to look this up. Okay, so change direction suddenly and nimbly as when dodging a pursuer. Urban Dictionary now says, meaning to work isn't functioning. Jinking is the act of thinking about jacking off at a moment where it's not possible. This is normally caused by pretty people or such. And then down here, the act of thinking about jokes before you write them down or tell them to someone. I imagine none of these are actually. I think it's got to be the one that Google immediately gave me. Sorry, I saw this. I was like, could this possibly be it? But no, there's no way. So he's much slower. They can catch him. So what could they do? We can make the climb while staying right on top of him. Oh, they're gonna bomb him. I mean, I don't know. They definitely didn't set up bombs, right? But that's got to be what it is. That may be true according to your familiar rules of the old world. However, here in the new world, the rules are made from scratch. Huh, I actually didn't know that. Like, I imagine the tale of the world's first ever dogfight has to be out there somewhere. I'll look it up some other time, like not on stream. Oh, they'll bomb him with acetylene. Oh, are we gonna get the inexplicable melee? I will definitely say, I think if we go by the rules I have set up, which are that I don't understand what is happening when someone performs a melee attack in Dr. Stone, then they could be extremely powerful against gun users in that with a gun, you know what's happening. It is like, a directional force that is escaping from wherever you aim the muzzle. Whereas something like the spear work that, like, I guess anyone's fighting style, you can't comprehend them, therefore you can't hit them, and they can hit you. Because it's not a straight line. Oh, okay, so we're getting both, like, not climaxes per se, but both big reveals of how they're gonna fight back in one 2-page spread. Or, I guess like they're not really spreads. I guess it is just, these big horizontal spreads. That's pretty dope. Ginro with the big sweaty over here. I don't think it's blood. I think that's supposed to be the gold/silver glistening effects. Like the way Boichi draws gold and silver things involves a lot more like black in order to make it feel more metallic. I mean, it is possible that he's sweating because he stabbed the guy and now he's like, "Oh boy, I sure hope he doesn't get back up." But yeah, it's definitely the coating. I 100% believe that Ginro would kill, but I do think he wouldn't kill someone who is looking at him, and it wouldn't be someone with a weapon. It might be someone with a weapon if they're not looking at him. I feel like Ginro's fighting style is definitely stab from behind, or leave them in a room with a bomb that is already set to go off. Ginro would kill out of fear and definitely out of a sense of, if I don't kill them, they'll kill me. Also, 1% maybe a kill in order to secure all the women and create a powerful harem. But I don't think he has the nuts in order to really pull that one off. No, oh, no. I'm not anti-gun, but I am definitely anti-giving someone like Ginro a gun. I'm also anti-giving someone like Yo a gun, to be fair. Guns should be reserved, at the very least, for people who I trust to not murder innocent people in order to get ahead in life. Like, you gotta draw the line somewhere, and I feel like that's a pretty low bar to set, but it's a bar that I think does need to be set. No, yeah, Risui would immediately start selling the guns. Not allowed. Ukyo might be okay with a gun. Yeah, like, I trust Ukyo. I trust most people who have some level of competence with aiming slash, directionality, and, someone who has average intelligence. The geniuses in Dr. Stone are bad, they've got the scary bad morals, and the dumb people are very dumb. So you gotta be very average. Very average and capable of learning how to shoot a gun. Which is honestly kind of my stance in real life of, I'm fine with, average people who, want some level of protection to have a gun. Like, I don't think that's inherently wrong or anything. I think that's completely fine. But in Dr. Stone, that subset of humanity is extremely limited. Which makes sense considering that they keep on trying to revive people who have, who are very standouts. That does necessarily mean that they have a bunch of very strong emotion people, a bunch of people that are not really in the middle of anything. Oh yeah, I trust Francois with a gun. I mean, Kinro has glasses. He is capable of aiming. He is a rational person. Anyways, I think that's enough of discussing which characters in Dr. Stone can be trusted to have a gun. I'd say this is a pretty average Dr. Stone, maybe a little bit below. I like the concept of the plane stuff, but the plane stuff doesn't interest me that much. It is very competently drawn, though. Like, the art's decent. Like, also the underwater stuff, good. Yeah, it's all good. But for Dr. Stone, it isn't super standouts. I feel like, I'll put it below me and Roboco, above Black Clover. Man, I would love to see Kinro sniping someone and wearing Suika's helmets. Like, with the justification of, we can't make him sniping glasses right now, but we do have a watermelon that we've just kind of had around for a while. So we can just stick the new lenses in the watermelon. Yeah, you better believe it. Let me post this. Oh no! Whoops. So, that's the final chapter ranking. Now it's time for the author comments ranking. I'll try to make this as not painful as possible, but I mean, no promises. Also, the Black Clover popularity poll for, I assume this is also the English one. I'm not going to go into it. I don't think a lot of people here are big Black Clover stans, but the next time I do Black Clover, I might bring that up. So, it's time for the author comments. Nice to meet you. My goal is to stay true to my sense of aesthetics while I draw. I think that's fine. Like, I think if you're doing a comedy series, you should have really standout comments, but if you're just doing a series in Jump, then I think it's fine to have a very bland intro. Like, you don't want to give people the wrong impression of you, and I do imagine that it's very easy to give people a really weird impression. Especially if it's, like, if this is your first serialized manga, I completely understand wanting to keep it safe. Right in the middle. I'm also going to use, yeah, I'll use the title of the series and not the mangaka name, just because it'll be easier to follow those. Kokosei Kazoku. I was a tenor in the chorus at high school, but I couldn't sing high notes, so it was always hard. I mean, that's a fact, but it's not an interesting fact. That goes below our blood oath. Having a series again after a while was really fun. There was an announcement already, but please relax and stand by. See, that's a functional comment. Like, it shows that Kubo isn't, being held hostage and being forced to make this. And, he's enjoying it, and he gave us some actual information. That's a good one. So far, best one. I've been having fun taking videos of my hands while I draw. It keeps me from slacking off, plus it's good practice. Now, does Taishi have a YouTube channel or anything? Because I would love to see him draw. I imagine his. I feel like he would have a better channel than Boichi. Not that Boichi isn't bad. Like, not that Boichi isn't good. Like, Boichi is fine. It's just he's got a weird channel. Yeah, it was nice. It wasn't as good as Kubo's, I think. So right now we are at Burn the Witch, We Never Learn, Our Blood Oath, and Kokosei Kazoku. Yikes, August is already over, but summer continues on in the series. I can definitely see the appeal of a series that mostly takes place in summer, because that way, like, year long, like, when it's summer, then it makes sense, it feels topical. When it's winter, it feels nice and warm, it's a nice getaway from suffering in the winter. And then as you go back into summer, you can say, like, hey, guess what? You know, it's lining back up again. Yeah, Taishi is so wholesome. Like, Taishi's author comments honestly make me enjoy We Never Learn so much more, because it gave me this feeling of, yeah, like, he cares about people, he is not a sociopath. I get that feeling a lot from some harem series, where it feels like the mangaka doesn't really understand human beings. Whereas with We Never Learn, I always get the feeling of, yeah, like, Taishi knows how human beings work, and when he makes people do really ridiculous things, it isn't because he doesn't understand them. It is because he understands that this is a rom-com with a heavy a heavy calm aspect. Like, he also makes a point of doing a lot of very intentionally cartoony things to make it very clear, like, no, this is not what a human being is supposed to act like. This is a misunderstanding that happens because these people are ridiculous, and it's funny. Oh, I didn't put in Hard Boiled Cop and Dolphin. Yeah, I like this one. It's not as good as uh, Kubo's, but I would say it's above Taishi's. Dr. Stone, this is specifically Boichi. I wait for autumn every year for Pacific Saori. If there's something to look forward to, waiting a year is fine. Okay. I'd say right now, in general, like, I really like salmon in summer, but I think we end up having a lot of salmon and a lot of, like, rainbow trout year-round for some reason. I don't know why. As a kid, we definitely didn't have a lot of rainbow trout, but I guess they're getting really, like, popular in Canada. But yeah, there's no real fish that I specifically aim for in a specific season. Like, there's tuna, there's hasa, there's a bunch of others that I find nice, but I guess I don't really, like, specifically look forward to a certain fish seasonally. Oh boy. Wait until the end of this video in which I reveal that Tight Kubo has been here the whole time, and then we get the ultimate fellation. Anyways, Dr. Stone goes. It's in the genre of food comments, which I don't care about that much, but it's better than Our Blood Oath, sure. The newest volume, an illustration book, and the One Piece magazine will all be released in Japan on September 16th, Wednesday. Sorry it's a little late. Now, this is a completely functional comment, which I don't care for that much. Like, it makes the most sense because the author comments are meant to be ephemeral. Like, they are a product of the moment. They're not meant to exist for all time. Like, there is, honestly, some danger in an author comment that is also, like, a note that should be in the volumes. Because then, like, it's actually very hard to get that information. I mean, now, in the age of the internet, everyone's writing down everything. But especially back in the day, I imagine there's a lot of author comments for more obscure series that probably just do not exist anywhere. Like, you just can't find them. So, yeah, very middle of the road. I'll put it below Dr. Stone. Inanimate Objects was supposed to be anything without cursed energy in Sukuna's domain expansion. Oops, oh well. So, classic Gege Akutami doing exactly what I just said, just giving us a note for something that is also that's something that only can exist in this moment, because I imagine he does fix these sorts of things in the volumes. But yeah, this is an author comments that does not make me want to read Jujutsu Kaisen. It does not really have any function apart from this specific moment in which he needs to fix something from the previous chapter. Like, I imagine it's vitally important if you're reading Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. But as a general author comment, I gotta, like, I'm putting that below Our Blood Oath. It's too functional. If the translators get the manga in the author comments, they could fix it before release. Yeah, honestly, they could. It would be very funny if, like, because it's digital, and because they are, like, putting the words in, like, as they're going, It would be very funny if the English Weekly Shonen Jump ended up being slightly better than the Japanese version in terms of accuracy when the chapter comes out. Also, I feel like this is really a problem with Akutami's editor and, like the people that are supposed to be catching problems, because so many problems seem to show up. It's not even because it's being reported on, like, because he's bringing it up, it seems like there's more. Like, no, most of the series I read have never had, like, something like that. The last one I can think of is a chapter from, like, very early on in Undead Unluck, where a character's name is, it has a very specific meaning to it, and that wasn't correct when it first came out. But for basically everything else I'm reading, I can't think of any, like, clear problems that showed up and that were later said, like, hey, this is a problem, this is a plot hole. Me and Roboco. Even when I know I shouldn't sleep, I fall asleep. Surprisingly, I have no regrets. That's a big mood. I think big mood comments are actually... I have to rank those very high. I will put that above Burn the Witch. That is currently the best comment. I could post these, but I'll wait until I'm done. I don't know if anyone needs to see a visual of the author comments ranking right now. But yeah, I think my favorite genre of author comment is the author comments that make me like the mangaka more. Because that way, like, it doesn't really change the content of the chapters themselves, but it does allow me to see the series in a new light. Because even if you can separate the art from the artist, which I try to do when I'm doing, like, critical analysis, when I'm just enjoying something for fun, my connection to the artist definitely matters a lot. Like, a big part of why I like We Never Learn, I think, is because of Taishi Susui's comments and the personality I get from him. The fact that he is, like, legitimately a very wholesome person. I wasn't quite sure how Riku's underlayer hair color worked, so I asked a hairdresser, and now I finally understand. Is he talking about Riku from... what immediately came up was, of course, Kingdom Hearts Riku. Which, if we bring up Riku from Kingdom Hearts real quick... I mean, he doesn't have the weirdest underlayer. Yeah, this cannot be the Riku he's talking about. Let's look up Riku hair real quick. No, that's all Kingdom Hearts for some reason. I know there are other characters named Riku. I mean, if anyone knows, do let me know. But I do like it when people think a lot about the hairstyles and, like, how they realistically work. Like, it blew my mind as a kid when I was reading a fanfic for Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically. And someone described Yugi's hair as being red hair with a dyed yellow fringe. Or not a dyed yellow fringe, just with a with a blonde fringe. And the explanation was, like, his hair is dark red, but down here, like, because the hair is all, like, because it's very dense, it looks black. But whereas, like, as it thins out in the spikes, the light hits it in a way that makes it look red, and then the fringe is just a fringe. Like that, I don't think anyone's ever tried to explain how this works. But that really, it made me very mad as a child, because I was like, how dare you say that the black part of Yugi's hair is red? But later on, as I grew up, and by grew up I mean as I waited a week, I realized, oh no, that's actually a very clever way to explain it. Let me just check the first chapter real quick, because I can't visualize what her hair looks like. Also, it is kind of damning if I don't know what his... Oh, wait a minute. Is that supposed... I kind of assumed that was, just an artistic, like, just I don't want the bottom of her hair to look black, so I'm going to just make it orange. Is that canon? Anyways, that is too functional for me. I mean, the problem is really, it's functional, and also I didn't understand it. I imagine in Japan, in Japanese, where you can actually see the kanji, it probably works a lot better. Like, because, you wouldn't immediately type in Riku in English and then get a bunch of Riku from Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, not a fan. Let's slap that under our blood oath. A delicious looking melon bun was being sold. It looked delicious. Fujimoto, what are you doing? Fujimoto, what are you doing? To be fair, I can't be mad because, he's putting out one of the best series in Jump, if not the best series. I mean, you gotta always discount One Piece, but apart from One Piece. So, I guess also, I have a small bit of anxiety when I read his author comments now, because I don't know which ones are absolute nonsense and which of them are extremely important information that you need to know. I would not be surprised if someone revealed at some point that all of the foods he talks about are part of a secret code that if you read it backwards and you take the kanji from each of the foods, you get the ending of the series. Gotsuke-san gave me grapes. I watched my daughter and wife play in the pool in the backyard. It was a good summer. That's so wholesome. Yuki Tabata really is like a discount Taishi Susui in terms of wholesomeness. Like, I feel like his comments used to be less family focused, and then there was a shift. There's definitely a shift where he got more family focused. And ever since then, I have enjoyed his comments quite a bit. I didn't say it out loud, but Chainsaw Man was at the absolute bottom. Whereas Yuki Tabata, I'll put him, I'll put him above Hard Boiled Coffin Dolphin. It has a good nostalgic energy to it that I find very fun and comforting. Plus, he did shout out Gotsuke-san. Fan letters really give me encouragement. I feel so much warmth from handwritten letters in this era. Thank you. Oh, it's actually very cute. Yeah, I like it. I'll put that right below Black Clover. I'm very, very glad someone did not tell me to do this during, the 1 week when all of the monthly mangaka also do their author comments. I encountered my first cockroach. I mustered up the courage to protect my assistants, crushed it with my foot, but they thought that was creepy. Oh no. I mean, I've definitely been in that situation of I don't really get bothered by touching insects. So, and also, like, I'm not the kind of person who tries to save insects and then throw them out of the windows or, like, put them outside. I definitely am a kill the insect kind of person, and also a not super bothered by killing an insect person. And that doesn't always play off super well. Sometimes that is not the correct thing to do. And because I do have a mentality that is very, like, problems forward, like, I do inherently try to fix problems instead of just sort of, like, chilling in the moment. So I do end up killing a lot of bugs that people don't want me to kill. Did I rank that? No, I didn't. Whoops. I gotta be consistent. Below Ayakashi Triangle. I can understand it. I do respect outthrowers. Like, every time I see someone, like, scoop up an insect and put it outside, I do like them. Like, my heart does grow a little warmer towards them, even though that is not something I personally do. I can bend my arm today, too, all thanks to my elbow. Wow, I'm so happy. Yay! Now, this should go to the bottom, but A, it is amusing. B, I have the slightest feeling that this is, like, I feel like he is saying this because the Yakuza has said specifically, Komoto, you have to pay back your $20 million loan or we are going to break your arm. And so either he is saying, like, he is either expressing that he's so happy that his elbow exists, or he is specifically trying to tell everyone, hey guys, I can bend my elbow. Therefore, if someone were to break my elbow, there would be foul play, because as you know, I, a man who loves his elbow, would never break his elbow unless there was foul play at hand. This really feels like a tweet that someone would post if... It feels like if you were cynically trying to be a Moe VTuber, this is the kind of thing you would post in order to make a bunch of people go like, oh wow, she's so cute, oh my gosh, so quirky. I'm gonna put it above Phantom Seer, but below our Blood Oath. It is saved from being at the bottom, because I do find it amusing. However, I do acknowledge it is bad that I find it amusing. I'm contributing to the problem. To the Hajime Komoto simps in the world. Boy, I've been watching all of the Hololive EN girls as of late. I would rank them as, I mean, obviously I can't remember all of their names, so let me just copy and paste these real quick, and also do a Hololive EN ranking. Can I just change the focus to my notepad? But yeah, man, I really want VTuber Boys to take off. I think that'd be really cool. Like, the closest thing and the most disappointing VTuber I have ever attempted to consume the content of is, of course, Inuyama Tamaki, the VTuber who is, who was created and is voiced by the woman who wrote Himegoto, an anime that I dislike very heavily because I find it very mean-spirited. Uh, the problem with Inuyama is that he is extremely cute, but he is horribly animated. And so I cannot, in my right mind, consume his content properly. Incidentally, of the like English studio unaffiliated VTubers, my favorite right now is, I mean, it's definitely Nanners. I like Nanners content way before the VTuber era, and I like her model is also just very cute and expressive. Whereas like Project Melody is awful. Like I like Project Melody's music, like don't get me wrong, but I think the model is real bad, and I don't really like their personality very much. Like I feel like they're leaning too hard into the whole like, oh, I'm a lewd VTuber, isn't that great situation. Anyways, in terms of content, Takahashi Kiara I think is my favorites. I would say she's definitely, I don't know. I think her voice is fun. I like the joke, the the chicken jokes. She has a really good design. She has a really good design. But then Ninamai is number 2. XV. I actually missed Amelia's stream. I saw some highlights afterwards. I don't find her that interesting. Gar is good, and then yeah, Gar goes right in the middle. And then Mori should stay right there. As I have said in the past, and I will say in the future, the flavor of trash is itself a form of spice. I can't say that the trashy flavor is inherently bad. It is simply a different flavor. Also, I think now all of you can understand part of the reason why I am rushing forward in my hope to become to A, become a VTuber, and B, cease to exist and create a fully automated persona that VTubes for me. The problem is that I need to quickly get away from the YouTube scene before I end up simping very hard for some sort of catboy with a very bad personality. That really is the ultimate danger, that I'm going to find a male Nyanners, who then proceeds to make videos with funny ironic names that I will then simp for. Oh wait, I didn't finish the author comments. I should probably do that. Magu-chan. My favorite killer is Pig. My favorite perk is Discordance, but I won't watch the original source movies because they're too scary. It's a bit of a middle ground in that if you like Dead by Daylight, you'll understand this. I have played Dead by Daylight twice or so I don't really get it. But it sounds like Kei Kamiki is having a good time. Yeah, that goes below Mashal. Why is my Mario so crude? He just gets close and unleashes attacks. I want to be more polished. This has to be Smash, right? Right? I assume it's Smash. Ah. Now, arguably, it might be better if you're just looking at the list, because the list is where all the action is going. But I will accept that maybe you might want to look at the screen and not my list. Yeah, sure, I'll put that above Mashal. Actually, no, I don't like it. I'm putting it lower. I'm putting it below Phantom Seer. I stuck my earplugs in my mouth when I was half asleep. It woke me up. Every time I think of that texture, it makes me feel gross. Oh, that's so specific. It's such a specific, not just mental image, but like a sensation. I am feeling my earplugs within my mouth right now. I feel like I am Giorno from the start of part 5, when Likai Luca's eyeball, was it, ends up inside of his mouth. Like, oh, I don't like it. No. But I like the feeling that this gave me. Not the feeling itself of my earplugs within my mouth, but the fact that this author comment was able to give me that concept, which is something I haven't really seen anyone else do. It was good. I'll put that below Ayakashi Triangle. And then, the road construction that has been kindly forcing me awake at regular hours is almost over. Thank you for the blog, Atsushi Nakamura. You get to go above, below Jujutsu Kaisen, below, because that could be interesting. Like, it might be relatable a little bit, sure, but I mean, it's also not even the road construction is now over. Like, you can't relate that then to the show, or to the manga itself. You can't say, oh, good, this is when the art got better because the mangaka was able to get sleep. Like, no, it's just almost over. All right, so let me post the final author comments ranking for all of you. This is, of course, completely useless to those people on on YouTube because it just annihilates the chat, because my chat is now very, very big, so it's easier to, read the comments. And of course, I guess I'll also, for consistency's sake, post the Hololive EN ranking. I mean, I'll give Amelia another shot, but I do think she has the least interesting gimmick. Okay, Zaku, fine, I'll do it. I will finally rank the author comments. Gotta say, the author comments are not great. I do think it was definitely more fun than High School Family, for sure. Would I say it was better than Phantom Seer? I mean, Phantom Seer was put together fine. I think the reason why I do it is interesting to note that the author comments are something I have never dropped. I don't think I've ever done Jump and then said at the very end, I'm too tired, I don't want to do this. These author comments always suck, so I'm just not going to do them. Like, I have consistently been reading the author comments for longer than, if you go back to my, maybe my first video or two, I may have not done the author comments, but even there, I think I did. I can't undersell them. As much as I hate some of them, I do love to hate them, and I enjoy the contrast, and there's so much going on in them that I find really fun. So, I mean, also, this has been a long reaction to the author comments, so clearly I'm enjoying myself. I'll put it above Dr. Stone, below me and Roboco. Oh, I gotta line this up so it actually looks good. Wait. Oh, right, there's a space there. Whoops. I forgot my own formatting. So here is what the final ranking looks like. It is either very good or very bad that author comments ended up being right in the middle of the manga in this manga reaction. That said, if you remove the series that I straight up dropped because I didn't like them, that does trend it a little closer to the bottom. It is a little concerning that the author comments beat Dr. Stone, but at the same time, I mean, I do enjoy reading the author comments. Feel free to post those. Oh boy, oh boy. Cute design. Oh, his tail's definitely some sort of... Is that a belt? It looks like a belt. I thought for a minute it was supposed to be a lightning cable for the old iPhones. But yeah, I think that's supposed to be a belt. Yeah, ears are cute. He's got a piercing in the ear, which I've really been coming around on ear piercings for animal ears. I used to think that was really weird and bad, but especially really chunky ones I think are really cute, because they're proportionally as big as a slightly chunky earring is on a human ear. It's got the same sort of cuteness as a hair clip on a fringe, which he also has, or a bandage that is there not to actually cover a wound, but just to make you look sporty. The outfit's a bit blah. It's definitely a gamer outfit. I definitely prefer something less bulky. Especially with the, he's got the shorts and he also has, the biker spats under it. I guess that kind of gives it a sort of Zettai Ryoki sort of feel, but yeah, it makes his legs less boring, but I'm not super into it. I would rather have the spats or the shorts, but not, both at the same time. Overall, it's definitely a solid 7 out of 10, leaning towards 8. I do think the one eye is honestly a bit of a detraction. He looks a little too shy for me. When he smiles, I really like it when VTubers smile with their eyes, and the fact that he only has one eye with which to smile kind of, brings it down for a bit. He does seem very fun, though. I would definitely tune into his streams. Name me a single Catboy you would give less than a 5. Oh, boy. Does the cat... first of all, let me find this Twitter real quick. Now, does the cat from Kokosei Kazoku count as a Catboy? Because if so... No. Oh, no! I mean, I'm sure there have been... Oh, my gosh. Ah... Niaowei for Niao. I would have liked this a lot more if this was Niaowei for Niao. But Niaowei for now is okay. It's fine. It's fine. Catboy go brrr. Okay. Name one Catboy you would give less than a 5. I'm sure I have had a Catboy that I've given less than a 5 before. I mean, Meowth has a lot of personality, though. I like Meowth. There aren't any Catboys in Ruby. I mean, Blake's dad, but I really like Blake's dad. I was going to go with Sun from Ruby, but he is a monkey boy. Now, if the PJ Masks count as cat boys, no. I'm not a fan of PJ Masks, but to be fair, I've never actually seen an episode. I've only seen like merchandise of them. So that probably is a bad one. Also, I don't think anyone is assuming that I mean the PJ Masks when I say I don't like this Catboy. Man, PJ Masks is really popular. Let's see, Catgirl, aka Catboy. This is not what I wanted. Are there cat? I gotta find one. I know there's definitely one. Naota does not count as a Catboy. Schrodinger is awesome. Pito is great. Also, we don't know what Pito is in terms of gender, so yeah, doesn't count either way. Oh, the main. Oh boy, did Seimei's brother have ears? I don't think so. Seimei's brother wasn't a virgin anymore. I'm sure there's a Catboy in Loveless somewhere that I don't like. I mean, I don't like his personality, but he is attractive. I mean, look at his face. Oh, see, I really remember liking Cheshire a lot, but then again, I was definitely in the age range for Pandora Hearts as well. Which, by the way, if you've seen the anime but you have not read the manga for Pandora Hearts, I would highly, highly recommend it. Pandora Hearts is, I mean, it's not a 10 out of 10, but I like it quite a bit. I think it is a lot better than the anime, makes it feel like it is. Also, entire last arc of the anime, non-canon, don't read it, bad. Loveless has a mechanic in which, like, if you are a virgin, you are a cat person. And then when you lose your virginity, you cease to be a cat person. Or, like, you lose the ears, essentially. So that is why I assume if I go through Loveless, I'll find someone. But that's definitely cheating. Don't worry, by the way, I will make a timestamp for this Catboy thing, so we can skip past it. Bad cat. This is going to just be PJ Masks, I imagine. Yeah. Can I leave it at I don't like Catboy from PJ Masks? There's gotta be a different Catboy that I don't like. Also, a lot of these are definitely jests. Like, theoretical things or costumes do not count. Like Ariel from Cardcaptor Sakura. I mean, first of all, I do like him, but I don't remember him as a Catboy. But he's not a Catboy inherently. He's just a guy who put cat ears on. Like, in the same way, I would not say that, Prez from Kaguya-sama is a Catboy because he wore cat ears once. I would also rank him very highly anyways. Why are there so many cat girls? Where are the Catboys? Vanitas. Kingdom Hearts. Is Vanitas a Catboy? I cannot possibly count Vanitas. There's no way. I refuse. Oh, yeah, that was, Oh, what was that show? I never actually saw it, so I couldn't properly say that. Oh, the Cat Delinquent manga is... There's no official English adaptation yet, or, no English translation, but I do want to read it at some point. There's a French translation. I was considering the idea of relearning French on Duolingo until I could learn enough French to then read that on the channel. But I think this is a lost effort. I'm going to give up. I think we have to just admit at this point that I like all Catboys. And by like, I mean I cannot find one that I would rate below a 5 out of 10. I mean, I already looked up Catboy minus masks. It's not possible. I can't find any. Alright, I think that's it for the stream. Wait, Nyankees has an official translation? What? It must have just, like, completely bypassed me during, the whole pandemic and all that, but okay. I mean, I got a lot I'm gonna do on the channel before I get to anything else, but let me just put this on my wish list for now, and we will get back to that in a little bit. Caleb Cook is an angel. He is an angel put upon this world to give us good translations and explanations of his translations. Anyways, that is enough. We gotta end it. Thank you all so much. Whether you showed up on the live stream or whether you're watching it on YouTube, I value all of you. You're all awesome. Watch out for an upload of High Rise Invasion. Already recorded it. Kind of lost a little bit at the end, but it's coming out for sure. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye for now. Yan yan.